one was cool.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely... Oh, shit. We're rolling.
Well, we don't even know how we got here.
Hello. Adam, Seb, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Who are you?
It's the voice of God.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
shit. That's awesome.
I brought you here today for a very special task. Can I trust you with that?
I guess so.
What I need you today is give me the best movies in these 6 following categories: action adventure,
Okay.
animation,
Good category.
comedy,
That's a funny one.
drama,
Bit serious. I like it.
documentary,
Real. I like that.
and horror/thriller. Do you think you can do that?
I think so. Do you have a cork board of what our choices would be picked from our own brains?
I do. I can't show you right now, but I do have that.
Okay.
But just at
Amazing.
some point, we're going to see that?
Yes,
That's awesome.
guaranteed.
Your power is incredible.
Yeah, that you can take like thoughts from our brain and write them out in perfect handwriting.
I'm all powerful.
I wouldn't say perfect, but
I would say pretty excellent.
You have to say that.
Yeah.
we'll let the viewers judge when they can see it.
Yeah, we actually should get a handwriting evaluation.
I feel like we should get started. That's what we
Alright.
should do.
Well, the first category is action adventure. Please take it away.
Okay, so yes, we're gonna we've been summoned. We've been summoned
Yes.
to decide on our favorite movie of the year by first going down each of 6 categories, picking a favorite from that category collectively between the two of us, and then ultimately choosing one.
We were last summoned in 2018 when, frankly, we were better prepared to be summoned. But this is going to be great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Should we dive right in?
Yeah, I feel like we're prepared to be summoned.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
How can we be more prepared? We watched as many movies as we could,
Yes.
some of which we watched a very long time ago.
Yes.
But hey,
We did the best we could.
we did the best we could, and that's all you can expect from us.
Okay. Do we want to start with action adventure?
Yeah,
Can I lay out my nomination?
please.
My nomination is RRR,
Okay.
which I've been calling triple R, but now every time in the press somebody is interviewed from it, they say RRR. It stands for Rise, Roar, Revolt.
Mm-hmm.
It is a film from India. It's an excellent film. We have both seen it.
Together.
Adam, what did you think of RRR?
It's a nonstop great time
Yes.
from front to back.
Yes. I wrote the same thing. I've made
Yeah,
some
that's what you
notes
said.
here. I wrote that it is, I think, maybe the most entertaining movie of the year. I think it's got anything you could want in a movie. It's got great action, great songs, great rom-com elements,
Yeah.
great
Great
melodrama.
choreography in those songs.
Yes, and in the action scenes.
And in the action scenes. And you know what? No, keep going.
Those were the lists. Great performances.
Mm-hmm.
I would say
Who did you like more between the two main performances? Because I was
That's a
putting
really-
together my best actor thing,
yes.
my best performance. What's the
Category.
word? Category.
Yes.
And I was like, should I nominate both of them?
I
love them both. I don't know who. Yeah, who's your favorite?
Well, when I was making my list, I put both of them in
yeah.
because I think there's two of them. I wrote their names here. Ram Charan, who is the cop,
Mm-hmm.
I think is so charismatic.
Yeah.
I think he is the best wingman anyone could wish to have.
Hell yeah.
I think he, works as an action hero. He works for the comedy. He's an incredible dancer. And then the other guy, N.T. Rama Rao Jr., is just so sympathetic. You feel his quest so much.
Mm-hmm.
You love him immediately when you see him, and he's believable both as sort of like this teddy bear who needs help romantically and also as a guy who fights tigers with his bare hands. I think they're both incredible, and they both make the movie even better.
I agree. when all those animals come out of the frickin' thing.
Yes.
What's the word?
Truck?
Truck?
Yes.
That was probably the biggest, like, I like to get, when I get really excited about a movie when I'm watching at home,
Yes.
I get on my feet.
Yes, you did.
Like so.
Are you still in frame? God, is he
I'll
still...
crouch.
Okay.
And I go, yes! And I think that was the number one time this year that I did that. So
Yes.
if we're evaluating a film on a metric of how much I stood up and went, yes,
Yes.
it's probably number one.
I think that's what you want from an action movie.
It honestly is, yeah.
And I may or may not have
And from a musical.
started recording on my phone before that part when I was showing Adam in anticipation of him doing that. And then he did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that you did that.
I have the recording somewhere. And I was too scared to like kind of actually film you in frame. So it's mostly just the audio and then me laughing. But
Why were you
I'll
scared?
Because I didn't want to. I also didn't want to. I didn't want to give it away.
Right, true.
So
true.
like I didn't want like you to notice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then you're gonna like guide my
Yeah.
guide
your
my reaction.
or
I'm like,
distract you
yeah,
during
it's
it. I've
true.
done that before. I've sort of like looked at someone, then they look at me and they miss the thing that I want to see their reaction to.
Yeah.
No good.
As I said off the top, a lot of these movies I've seen a long time ago,
Yes.
so I can't really speak on them the most intelligently right now.
Okay.
Certainly a film that I'd like to see again.
Yes.
But I freaking loved it. Like it rules.
It's I watched it twice. I don't think that'll be the last time I see it. Before we move on, I just want to say it's the rare like anti-colonial action movie, which I think coming from India. We don't see that a lot in
Although
Hollywood
it has
movies.
gotten a lot of backlash for being very like nationalist, apparently. Which like
Yes.
I obviously don't really know about the politics of India.
And apparently the director S.S. Rajamouli has a history of that in his
Oh,
films
really? I
as
haven't
well.
seen any of his other movies.
But I don't know enough about Indian
Yeah,
politics
yeah.
to comment. I will say it's very harsh to the British Empire,
Hell yeah.
which is
Which
a
we
lot of
love.
fun to see.
We love being harsh to the British Empire. We don't
yes,
love
we don't
we
love the
actually
British
very much
Empire.
hate the British Empire. Just
And
to be clear.
it has a very strong thematic statement, I think, about revolution
Mm-hmm.
that I think is maybe slightly undermined when the heroes do absolutely everything.
Yeah, they get to be the singular like heroes, and it's like supposed to be this kind of thing about like
the people.
yeah, look,
but-
everyone together revolting, but then at the very end, it's like, but look at
It's
these two
just them.
awesome, sick guys
Yes.
who are actually the heroes.
but
But it is sick to watch.
yes, that would be my one problem. But then you kind of forget because it's
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Yeah.
it's so cool. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. They're gonna perform the song at the Oscars
Did it
on
get
Sunday.
nominated?
The song was nominated.
The song was nominated.
And that's gonna be, I think, a big moment. Yeah, I think it's maybe my favorite movie of the year on the whole. Not to spoil.
Wow.
So it's high up, and I think this was a strong year for action movies. I just want to run through my honorable mentions real quick.
Lay it on. I should look over my yeah.
What
let
do
me
I
see what
got
wanna
here?
count.
Top Gun,
Didn't see it.
which is great.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
That's what
that's
I've
my
heard.
wrong list. Avatar, another sort of anti-colonial
Look at what
action
you're
movie.
wearing.
Yes, I wet myself at Avatar: Way of Water, shirt made by Tim.
We all went to go see it opening weekend.
It was great.
It was good. It was a
a
good
great
time.
time.
It was a good time.
I was surprised how much of a straight action movie The Woman King was.
Mhm.
And
flick.
yeah, maybe controversial in some of the historical elements, but great movie, great action movie. And I also loved Ambulance, the Michael Bay movie,
Yeah, I
which
didn't
is
see that
completely
either.
insane. And recommended for fans of Michael Bay. Adam, got some honorable mentions for us?
In the category of, I should have prepared this.
I don't think I even told you I was going to do honorable mentions. So my bad.
Oh yeah, The Northman. Did you see The Northman?
Yeah, that was great.
That was so sick.
Mm-hmm.
Just totally like unrelenting.
Yes.
And I remember I saw that on a back-to-back where I saw the unbearable weight of massive talent
Yeah.
before, which was pretty bad.
Okay.
So I was exhausted like going into the movie, and I was like, oh, should I go home? No, this is kind of what I actually came here to see.
Yeah.
It's it's so unrelenting. And then there's also like that kind of fake out ending, like 2 hours in, that where it's like, oh, the Northman, maybe he will be like satisfied, just like he doesn't actually need to like, he doesn't actually need the vengeance. He can just go off and live like a happy life. And it really got me. I was like, yeah, you know what? I guess that really is all he needs. But then, he goes back.
Yeah. It's about the folly of vengeance, but also vengeance is very cool.
But also vengeance looks awesome.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I love the Northman. And also I went to Norseman. That was my school in middle school.
So you were sort of the Norseman.
I was the Norseman.
Right. Yeah. So you felt connected.
And that was what middle school felt like, actually.
I feel like
felt like that.
We got a sort of a sign from God there that we should be moving on to our next movie.
Yeah, we got a lot of movies, so we should go through these quick.
Adam, what's your pick for this category?
My action adventure pick is Everything Everywhere All at Once, which, is a lot of people's pick for the best movie of the year. It's probably going to win Best Picture at the Oscars on Sunday, but we don't care about the Oscars. These are the summons. We're handing out a summoned.
All these people have been served.
That's the more important thing. I absolutely love this movie. I mean, it's to me, I love the idea of, hey, we can think forever about the mistakes we made in life, the paths we chose.
Yes.
What life we're living now in the moment, and be dissatisfied with that and be like, what if I did this? I should have done this, But you can only live the life you're living right now, Seb.
It's true.
And it's better to try to be present with the people that you love right now, rather than try to think about what could be, what could have been. It's just a great, touching, like, emotional core that I feel very connected to emotionally, and I think that it's like married with awesome, cinematic technique, like awesome filmmaking, and like that enriches that idea, both in like concept, just the literal, like, taking that or physicalizing that as the story about, like, literally trying to tap into these, like, different lives, and using that as sort of the propulsion of, like, the action and adventure.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the best action adventure,
Yeah, great action.
But using that, sort of the narrative propulsion, like that thematic idea. And then also just like, so many sick, like, visual symbolizes of that, the sort of image cracking, that thing, the stuff where she's going through all the different lives super quick, like, just a lot of really, like, memorable images that are sort of perfect, like, visual encapsulations of that. Love how it just sort of goes full force into, like, capturing each of these very, like, distinct different universes, and sort of stylistically defines them all in very, like, unique ways. So to me, just like a great synthesis of great, beautiful, emotional core and thematic ideas that I love, explored not only freaking textually, but also within the filmmaking of it. So loved it. I know you're not as hot on it.
Yeah, and I agree with, like, everything you said. That image of her head moving between the different universes,
so awesome.
And the way it's edited and put together, I think it's incredible. I feel like there's a sort of uncharitable political read of it that I couldn't get out of my head when I was watching it, in terms of, like, wanting a better world and sort of settling for the one we have. The husband argues for us to restore faith in our institutions, and things like that. And the sort of overarching kindness message, which is in a lot of stuff these days, I felt didn't resonate as much when they're sort of pushing against unfair systems, like the way they're taxed, the family, and the way they're policed and everything. And sort of the kill 'em with kindness sort of emotional climax didn't really hit me in the way I think it was supposed to because of that. But I still like the movie a lot.
It's kindness with each other, like, interpersonally. It's not like being kind with the system, or just like settling for the system and being like, well, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, but that's the solution it presents in terms of fighting the system, I think. Like,
I guess
is interpersonal.
I don't
kindness.
think it's a movie about fighting the system. And I think that that's fine if you, like, I don't know, I guess if you want it to be that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know necessarily what like what it's like. Why do you think that it's a film about fighting the system,
Well, it
or that it
starts.
has to be that?
It doesn't have to be, but it starts with them in financial trouble in terms of being targeted by the IRS. And the solution at the end is to befriend the specific IRS agent they're dealing with. And I understand that on a personal level, and I even find those scenes sort of moving. But like, when they're like beating on security guards and like all these things, it just feels so narrow to me. And I feel like for a movie like that, sprawling, and the way people have responded to it as a movie of the moment, it sort of missed the mark for me because it was so focused on those like interpersonal relationships. But I understand like not every movie is everything.
Everywhere,
Even this movie. So yeah, I understand why it resonated with people. I also kind of think the what some have described as the random burrito sort of sense of humor didn't hit with me as much, but I understand why people
But you
find it
wrote
funny.
Awesome Sauce Powers.
I did write Awesome Sauce Powers, but then, but that is
like, what are you saying?
that is not an era of comedy I want to go back to necessarily.
You wrote a sketch about going back to it.
I know, but I don't
like about
think,
being stuck in that time. Like, that's
yes, which I don't think we should be. Yeah, I don't know. It's a certain type of
I think
thing
that humor is
that's
funny.
like,
I mean, you can't debate like taste in terms of
Yeah.
humor. I think that is funny. I think that like it's not like there's a lot of films being made that are like particularly channeling I don't know, I guess what you're describing as that sort of 2012 era of like random humor. But I think it's funny. Like I mean,
I think it's sort of Deadpool-y, which I know it's funnier than Deadpool for sure. But in terms of like, oh, like there's a dildo in the scene and there's sex toys.
The
and
thing
stuff.
but Deadpool, it's all about like ironically commenting on like the film and like kind of undermining like what you're watching and sort of the emotionality of like what you're watching. Everything Ever All at Once is never undermining any of the emotion of it or of the filmmaking. Like I think that it's like a very earnest film that like the humor may be random or whatever, but it's like that's in touch with like an emotional core that's honest and filmmaking that like feels like it's taking itself seriously while also being silly and fun.
Yeah, I can totally see that. But I sometimes did feel like a serious emotional moment of family drama was undermined with, you know, people exploding into confetti or fighting with dildos or like farting or whatever. Like it just, I don't know. It's just not my sense of humor. Like, and I think that stuff was a little jarring to me in terms of taking it more seriously as a sci-fi thing or a family drama.
Door 73 says hot take, butt plug's funny.
Butt plug's funny.
Okay. I can't argue with that.
Hey, Door 73, what's your movie of the year?
Yes, and we'd love to
And-
hear
yeah, anyone-
everyone's action movies of the year.
Yes, drop your
Right
action
now-
movies in the
right
year.
now
We're
in the
gonna
chat.
pick ours. Unless you want to keep talking about everything overall once.
No.
But I feel like I'm
I
gonna
think I'm good.
freaking strangle you if we go on a moment longer.
Can I say one more thing?
Please.
This I thought was interesting. There's a guy on Letterboxd named Callum Marsh. I think he's a really good writer. He wrote a review of it where he talked about the Dan Harmon effect in terms of like how on Community there were a lot of episodes that were built with big genre things and then the curtain was pulled back and it's like, oh, it's just one person having an emotional breakdown. And he said that in Everything Everywhere All at Once, there was a thing where that would happen like every scene, where it's like it was hard to get wrapped up in the sci-fi adventure for him because every scene it would be revealed to be a metaphor for the daughter being estranged from the mother or something like that. And I sort of felt that a little bit as well. It was hard to engage with it when the metaphor was being told to us so constantly.
That's interesting. I don't I don't really agree. I don't know. I feel like the world always feels expansive and like feels like even as the emotionality is like the most important part and sort of the thing that like grounds amongst all the different vast multiverses. Like I am invested in, I'm invested in the Raccacoonie story. I'm invested in like the hot dog finger story, and they all feel like real and feel like they're happening simultaneously to this sort of a narrative. Even the Rock story, like I don't feel like this is like, I mean, it all serves the it all serves the main emotional core. But I never feel like it's sort of like, I don't know, none of this stuff matters. None of these worlds are real. None of these worlds are, it's all just like a metaphor for something. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's very honest and grounded and whatever.
Door 73 asks, have we mentioned Rob Zombie's The Monster? Yeah.
Well, we're not at horror yet.
Yeah, we're in action adventure.
I've heard that movie's very spooky.
We're just more shouting out The Batman.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
that was a
Batman,
cool one.
I thought was pretty cool.
I had some annoying political takes about that one as well, but I did like it.
Yeah, I generally like the Batman. I'm trying to remember what I thought. If you want to talk first.
No, I kind of feel like we should move on.
Oh,
I'm
do you
also
wanna-
like, we should. God is telling us we should.
Okay.
Oh, we're getting a view of the board.
Oh,
live.
we're gonna get a view of the board. Okay.
We're getting a live view of
All
the
right,
board.
so we're gonna have to move one of these over. I mean, like I feel like RRR is the one we're more together on.
Yes.
I personally like Everything Everywhere All at Once more, but I still love RRR. So
Does the chat want to weigh in?
oh yeah,
I'm kinda curious.
Or if God also has to break the tie.
Yeah.
God hasn't seen RR.
God has not seen RRR apparently.
Okay.
Would love to hear what the chat thinks.
Yeah, give us-
it's
give us
I
one
don't
chat.
even dislike Everything Everywhere All at Once. Those are kind of minor knocks to a movie.
Yeah,
that
I feel
I
like I mean we were talking about this a little bit before, like the fans of Everything Ever All at Once have almost inflated it to the not even inflated because I think it's a masterpiece. I love it. Like I gave it 5 out of 5. But you know, hey, if people don't like it, it's okay. You don't gotta be so mad about it. Or even if they don't love it, like Seb doesn't even hate it.
Yeah, and I think I agree. I think it'll win Best Picture, and I think there'll
I'm
be
gonna strangle you.
there will probably be a strong, vicious backlash to it, which will probably be
Yeah, which is
overblown.
unfortunate.
I'm really happy for it,
Especially
you know.
because it's like, even if you don't like it, I mean, it's a pretty weird thing to win Best Picture.
Yeah,
it's
for
a pretty
sure.
wild thing to win Best Picture. So
It's a legitimate A24 blockbuster.
Yeah.
With the all Asian cast, an amazing cast doing great work.
it was like when Shape of Water won.
Yeah.
And it's like I didn't absolutely love it, but I was like, it's a pretty weird film to win.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm happy this won. I do like that movie a lot, though.
Did we have anything from chat?
Still waiting for chat.
I
Come
think
on,
we
chat.
should. I think we should pick.
All right. It's fine. We can go with RRR. I mean, I love it. I'm not like
Okay.
we can move that forward. Because
I thought there might be a chat push, and I was ready to be overruled.
I mean, chat. This is your last chance.
Does this make sense?
Move it like under the question mark. All right. Next category we got.
I feel. I think we should move on to animation.
Animation.
Adam, you want to start us off with your pick this time?
Yes, animation. Not really a genre. It's more of an entirely different medium.
It's true.
But you know, we just have it as a separate thing.
We play with the cards we're dealt.
Although I feel like we also
By
have
God.
documentary. Documentary is kind of like another medium in a way. Also,
There's comedy
So it's a-
documentaries. There's horror documentaries.
Yeah, like anyway, whatever. Doesn't really matter. I picked Turning Red, which is another one of those movies that I saw literally a year ago. I guess it's probably actually, I don't know. When did I see After Yang? It was probably around that time also. Spoilers for the board.
But it's been the longest.
But I think it might have been the oldest one. So as I was like going through my favorites of the year, like I keep a running list as the year goes, and it was the animation that was at the highest of my list. So I was like, okay, that's the winner. But it has been a long time since I've seen it. I'm kind of stalling until something comes to mind for
Okay.
what I should
I
say.
can-
You know what I really liked about it, Seb?
What did you like?
Everything. No, here's what I really liked about it.
Were you stalling again?
No, what are you talking about? I have a lot of good things to say.
Okay.
A lot of and not to just compare it to other Pixar movies. Not the best way to critique it. But
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this to say it off the top
Okay.
is that I love a lot of them. There's kind of like a clinicalness to a lot of like those narratives where it's almost like they're so perfectly crafted
Mm-hmm.
and so like
Constructed.
yeah, like
They've also been pretty serious lately.
that
I don't know
too.
if that's what you're reacting.
No, that too.
Sorry. please finish.
But there was something that was more kind of messy and exciting about Turning Red that I enjoyed about it versus like a lot of the other ones. I sort of really enjoy like the malleability of the central metaphor
Yes.
of the panda.
Mhm.
Like
I wrote down the exact same thing.
really,
Yes.
it kind of reminded me of Us.
Yes. Okay. I
Where-
think the two of us love a flexible metaphor.
We do love a flexible metaphor. But yeah, that's what I really love about it, that it
Mm.
feels like at different points in the movie, it can kind of symbolize different things. And it doesn't like negate other things that it sort of meant as the movie goes. But
Yeah.
that malleability is like exciting, and it's part of like what's fun about the viewing experience. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, at this point it can mean this, at this point it can mean this. And sort of like scene by scene, it can also kind of represent different things, which is fun and exciting.
Yeah.
And then also, as you were saying, yeah, it's like it goes internal. It has the emotional. It has that great emotional confrontation at the end, but it's not like overtly serious. It's not like it's fun. It feels like I'm having a good time at the pictures.
Yeah, it's an out and out comedy pretty much.
Yeah.
Which I feel like Pixar has been drifting from a little bit. Yeah, because with the flexible metaphor, like in the first like 10, 20 minutes, I was like, okay, it's puberty, I get it. And then the character like literally gets her period, and I'm like, okay, so she's literally getting it, and it's a metaphor for that.
Yeah.
But then it kept changing and it kept shifting, and it's, I thought it was a bit more about finding your voice at
Yeah.
times. Being caught between two cultures. There's a lot of different things in it. Also, in terms of the comedy, I thought it had sort of a Looney Tunes quality that I liked of like, it is fast paced and they are throwing a lot at you, which is my kind of least favorite thing about modern animated movies, especially for kids. But I watched a video essay once about Chuck Jones.
All right.
Of every frame of painting.
Okay.
Deep cut.
Yeah.
No one watches those. But someone in it said that Chuck,
Every frame was literally a painting with Chuck Jones.
Yeah, no, it's true. And somebody said about Chuck Jones in that video that he was a minimalist, that like the funniest things were small expression changes, small movements and stuff. And I kind of thought about that in Turning Red. I felt like there was like a real like physical animated comedy that wasn't just like stuff moving around the screen all the time. Like I can't remember the exact thing, but there's one thing where the panda's like in a bathroom and she's like has to sort of tippy toe out, and it was really funny and
Yeah.
it was like really small and minimal, and that's I think a good thing these days.
Yeah.
A slight movie a little bit.
Yeah. I love that the friends are so excited about the panda.
Right.
That just makes me happy.
That's funny. Mo started crying
When
when
the
the
friends
friends
were
were,
excited. When the friends were-
accepting.
yeah. I love that.
But Mo cries in every movie.
Yeah, well,
But still,
shout out to Moj.
yeah. I felt
Great voice performances.
Yep. I felt it was one of just like this next my pick.
Hey, great transition.
One of many animated movies influenced by Spider-Verse, and the closing narration is almost identical.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like
Oh, and your pick.
no in Turning Red.
What's the closing narration?
It's sort of like it sort of ends on a like, if you didn't know that, well, now you do, which is exactly what Miles Morales says. And like, oh, and people still talk about the panda disaster, and it's like,
Right.
it's very similar.
That's a
but
pretty
I
great
respect
movie to
that.
be
be cribbing
influenced by.
from.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Hey, wait. Can I do some of my honorable mentions?
oh yes,
Because actually, it was a really good year.
it was a really good year for
for
animation.
animation. Turning Red, yeah, obviously. Mad God was really. I was really close to picking it.
Mad
I
God is
love
incredible.
Mad God.
Yeah,
Not
not a fun watch,
no,
but amazing stop motion animation. Just the most horrific stuff you'll ever see in animation.
Yeah.
Incredible.
and just like so impressive to watch.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I love it.
If you don't know, it was made sort of by one special effects supervisor. It was his passion project, and like everyone else like worked on it for free, or a lot of people.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
know they
were
were
like
free.
his, or like a lot of people were like just working on it in their spare
Right.
time
Yeah,
over
because
many
it
years.
was over like 20 years or something, or maybe even longer.
Yeah.
It was a while. And this was what was his name?
Phil Tippett.
Phil Tippett, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was like worked on Alien and
Jurassic
Star
Park,
Wars,
Star
and, like
Wars.
legendary
Mhm.
special effects guy. Yeah, it's so sick. God, did you see Mad God? Oh, weird. What other?
Sorry, I threw you off there.
No. I'm glad you did. Wendell and Wild, I loved.
Didn't see that yet.
Really?
Yeah, I got to. I know I'm gonna like it. I don't
Oh,
know,
I know.
why
I'm
I
so
haven't seen it yet.
I mean, I like Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I like Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Yeah, Marcel was great.
Intergalactic was solid.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of really solid animation. And Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio was like one of my favorite movies of the year. It was it narrowly missed out on I was flipping between Turning Red and
It was in the
Pinocchio.
top 2 Pinocchio adaptations of the year.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, when did that Pauly Shore one come out? Was that
What?
this year?
Oh, is that the one
You
where
don't know
Pinocchio
about
has
that?
that weird voice in the
Oh,
trailer?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's in the top 3.
Father,
Is that Pauly Shore?
isn't it? Yeah. I'm getting the nod from God.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yeah,
Can I throw in some honorable mentions?
please.
I went to see the animated shorts this year
Wow.
in theaters.
That's actually so sick of you.
and my year.
Wait.
Eh? Thank you. I went with my grandma. Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you,
That's
Kat.
actually really sick of you.
My-
Everyone congratulate Seb and the. Okay, I didn't mean to be such a jerk about it. I was just joking around. I'm sorry, Seb.
there was
It actually is pretty sick of you that you did that.
there's a movie called My Year of Dicks.
Yeah.
It's great, and I hope it wins. And I feel like it might win because I actually think people don't watch the shorts and they just vote for the titles. That's my theory. Because always like when you watch the Oscars and the shorts come on, there's like one title where you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, and that always wins, even if
Okay.
you've never seen any of them.
I like this theory.
But My Year of Dicks is actually great. It's about a girl trying to lose her virginity. I feel like it was maybe posted as like webisodes or something because it's in chapters.
Okay, cool.
But it's a cool nomination. It's a really good movie.
Did you like Marcel the Show with Shoes On?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was.
It got really hyped for me. It was one of the I was like,
I
oh my
got
God,
a
this is
bit
the
of that.
greatest movie ever.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's good.
I thought it was very moving.
Yeah.
About death, and
Seeing all the shell spoiler.
you're really kind of crazy with the spoilers.
Well, whatever. You don't remember spoilers for a movie you don't know anything about.
It's true.
Well, at least I don't. I can't speak for anyone else. If someone tells me like, oh, this crazy thing happens at the end, and then they say what happens, I normally forget. You
Yeah,
told me
it's
the
true.
end of The Departed the other day. I don't even remember what it was.
Okay, that's good.
Because I'm not like I have nothing to relate it to. I don't know who any of these characters are. What are we talking about here?
That one resonated with me.
The
Marcel.
Departed?
Marcel as someone who's lived with his grandma.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
that was a nice element. I like this.
What was Abuela's favorite movie of the year? Do you know?
I don't. I should ask.
Yeah. Did she what was her favorite of the animated? Because you saw it with her, right?
Yeah, she agreed. My Year of Dicks,
Yeah?
which
Nice.
is funny. Just quickly, it was actually a really strong year. I think
Yeah.
the Sea Beast on Netflix
Oh, yeah, I
didn't
didn't see
even
that.
crack my top 5. There's amazing
Wow.
stuff in it. Amazing sea monster sequences. Good movie. And my mystery movie, which we'll get to, is
Avatar?
a movie widely hated. That is like not good, but there's parts of it that are very good. I kind of liked it.
And if you count Avatar as an animated movie, it's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's true.
Which it kind of.
If Marcel is.
If Marcel is, it's no less
It was
animated.
kind of. Would love to hear. Oh wait, I didn't even say mine
Yeah.
yet.
Although, do we have any in the chat? Anyone talking about their favorite
if anyone
animated?
wants to drop, but
Wow.
please do.
Come on.
Our millions of viewers and no.
Our 2 viewers?
Oh,
We had 6 at
wow.
one point. And none of you said anything? Tell us your favorite animated movie of the year.
Mine was
Yeah.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which was amazing. It was a big surprise.
Yeah, throw an applause on that.
It was also extremely indebted to Spider-Verse in its visual style and its storytelling. I thought it was ridiculously fun. I was having a blast the entire time.
Yeah, that song at the start,
This song is so
like
good.
it gets me right away. I just watched this the other day. It was one of the more because I hadn't seen it, and then you put it on your list. So I, as someone who likes to be as prepared as possible
Yes.
in every situation,
Yeah.
and never leave it up to the moment,
Okay.
I decided to watch it in advance.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And you like that song?
Yeah, it
Opens
got
on
me
a
right
song.
away.
It's so energetic without, I think, being that DreamWorks pacing that they have now, where everything's like so fast, everything's like Boss Baby, and it's like hurts your brain to look at it. But this one, I think, after that sequence, there's a sequence that's sort of a cat retirement home.
Oh yeah.
That is really patient, really sets up the themes, really takes its time, puts you in our main character Puss in Boots' headspace. Movie's so funny.
and such an effective whiplash too. Like
Yes.
it's like you're really coming off the high of like, damn, this guy he's got no regard for life. He's the coolest guy ever. And so it's such an effective whiplash.
Yeah,
because
it puts you-
as you're saying, it's like even energetically in the film, it's sort of like mirroring that. Like,
How he's feeling.
yeah, exactly.
And
Love it.
I just loved it. Great character designs and character animation. There's the villain in particular, I think it's not there's a bunch of villains, but one in particular I think is amazingly animated. I don't want to spoil who he turns out to be, though I think it's very obvious from the first scene who he is if you're not a kid. I loved it.
It's the best Shrek movie.
I saw a review that said it was the best Shrek universe movie.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
true.
it's
Well, Shrek
true.
is in it,
Shrek appears for a second.
so it is the best Shrek movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Unless, like, does Shrek? Oh, I like.
true. Do you like Shrek the Halls, maybe?
I
Or,
don't like Shrek the Halls. I have seen that.
Shrek. What's
Never. I like Never
Scared
Ever
Shrekless?
Idle.
Far, Far Away Idol?
Far, Far Away
What's
Idol.
the Halloween one called? Is it Scared Shrekless, or did I make that up? That seems wrong.
That seems right. If
anyone-
it's not Scared Shrekless, it should be. 'Cause that's
if,
a good title.
if anyone in the chat knows what the Halloween special of Shrek is.
People in the chat, if you're here, it is Shrekless. Okay, yeah.
Awesome.
If there's anyone in the chat who wants to comment, this is your chance to decide on animated movie of the year. Our nominations are Turning Red and Puss in Boots,
The Last
The
Wish.
Last Wish.
Joseph Melendez says the Jiminy Cricket destroyed me.
Yes, there's a very funny
Oh,
Jiminy
yeah.
Cricket parody in
The best Jiminy
Puss in
Cricket of the
Boots.
year.
yeah. And apparently that was just like one of the animators who did that voice. It's
Really?
very
Oh, that's
funny.
beautiful.
Um,
Tim, you've seen both of them. What's your pick?
Turning red.
really?
All right, God picks Turning Red.
Chat.
You got a couple seconds to make a pick. Oh, okay. Our camera's not working for
our
the board, but that's okay.
We'll modify our board ourselves.
All right. If chat hasn't made any choices, it's got to be Turning Red, right? We got two of us saying it.
I guess so.
Unless-
To me, there's a wide gulf
Really?
between the two. I like Turning
You
Red.
like Puss in Boots that much?
I
don't.
think- Okay.
I don't have any beef with it.
I think part of
but-
it to me maybe is that I saw Puss in Boots in theaters. I saw Turning Red at home, which I think makes
Well,
an
that's not Turning
influence.
Red's fault.
I know.
It should have gotten a.
I'm admitting
theatrical
the
release.
bias that I have.
What did you love? So I have no complaints with Puss in Boots,
Okay.
but I was really shocked to like go on Letterboxd after seeing it, and it's like one of the like 100 highest rated movies on there.
That's a little much.
Everyone
I agree.
says it's like a 5-star master. Like what?
I don't think it's a 5-star
What is
masterpiece.
so incredible about it?
I think it's extremely well put together. I think the
Yeah, so is Turning Red.
yes. I think to me, I usually
So is my hair, but it's not
I
like
usually
one of my
please
favorite movies.
please
of
let me
the year.
finish. I think to me, I usually prefer a sweeping adventure to something more contained, something more personal and stuff. We'll see this later. That I am not big without the flash. You know, I need something to hold my attention, I guess. So and to me, it like Spider-Verse. It's a feast of the senses as well, but I think the themes are really resonant as well. I don't think it's like an empty thrill ride.
Yeah.
I think the parts of it are very powerful. I was really caught off guard when the secondary villains had their own emotional arc. And
I did like that a lot.
I think it's amazing screenplay, which I think to me always and it's an adventure movie screenplay, which I think to me always appeals. And I think maybe it's a lot of it's cribbing from Spider-Verse. There may be to me a few more new ideas in terms of animation than Turning Red, which I feel like is sort of in the Pixar house style, at least in like design. But like I said, there's lots of great character and comedy animation in Turning Red.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The only thing I would say thematically for me, which is again not really a critique, I'm like really afraid of dying.
Okay.
And I really thought this was gonna hit me because that's sort of like like it almost feels like it's leading towards sort of a like acceptance of like death kind of thing.
Yeah, at one point I was like, I'm going to be disappointed
like,
when he doesn't die at the end of this.
Yeah, no. Or at least have some kind of like renewed like, but instead it kind of becomes more of a like
choosing your life. I think
which is cool.
settling down.
Which is cool.
Yeah,
I
can see what you mean.
But like that's not like I'm not saying it should have been a different movie, just that it didn't really like kind of get me in the way that I expected it to.
Can I spoil something here? And I feel like we've already talked around it. I think the moment that sort of redeemed it for me is that his defeat of death is temporary.
Yeah,
that says I'll be back
cool.
to get you soon.
Yeah.
And just the animation, the vocal performance on Wagner Moura, all of that on the death character, I think incredible.
Yeah.
Joseph Milando says, Turning Red has heart, Puss in Boots has soul, each of them is missing the other, and he won't explain further.
Interesting. I think also this sucks. This is so stupid. But
I
like,
really want to know what
there's an underdog element to DreamWorks making a good movie, which is so shitty because it's not like they're an independent studio. They're like so well funded and they've chosen to make terrible movies for years. Whereas like another good
Captain
Pixar
Underpants.
movie. Yeah, I mean, there's a
Captain
few.
Underpants.
I like Captain Underpants. I like a lot of DreamWorks movies, but like, there's a lot of stinkers in there. I don't think it's controversial to say that. And this is their best movie, I think, since like Chicken Run or something, which is wild. So I think that's part of the response is that it was so unexpected, and I think people want to encourage them to follow down this path. The director is doing Kung Fu Panda 4, and I'm very excited to see him do that.
Well, those Kung Fu Panda movies are really good. Well,
the first two.
Yeah.
We are probably way over time. We are okay.
Are we?
I think we should move on.
Okay.
I've made peace with Turning Red.
I mean, we got the tiebreaker from God, and from 73rd Door.
And we moved Triple R, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's only fair.
Let's do Turning Red. What's going on with my hat?
All right, so Turning Red is going to be going up against. You want to?
Yeah, sorry, you're holding the board. I'm doing nothing.
Well, that's pretty impressive that I did it all. So, Turning Red's gonna go up against the winner of this next round.
Okay.
Which is a documentary. So why don't we start with you?
Okay.
With you, Seb?
If we're going alphabetically, it is not, but that is fine.
Oh, is it? Not?
There's comedy in there.
Oh yeah. I guess I put that over here.
That's fine. If it's on the board that way, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was an accident.
No problem.
But you know.
All right. So
maybe it's meant to be.
This is
because there are no accidents here.
Interesting one. Do you wanna start off?
Therapy dogs.
Actually, maybe I should start for this one.
Okay.
Sorry, no, just for a reason. The reason is that this my pick is not available online anywhere, so Adam hasn't seen it. Yeah, so I think
fair.
Yeah, okay, but that will be there's irony in that statement, which we'll find out later.
But for now, real fair, Seb. You got real egg on your face, huh?
Full disclosure, my cousin produced this movie, so that is why it's one of the few documentaries I've seen this year, but I did like it. It's about a guy who is sort of wrestling with his faith, and he's the filmmaker. Sorry, I wrote his name down here. Asin Nadim is sort of struggling because he's married outside of his faith. He's not sure his parents will accept that he has a wife who's not Muslim. And at the same time, he meets he's doing a documentary about monks, and he meets a guy who is trying to become a monk but is like bad at it. And he's a really fascinating sort of character to study. And it's just a very interesting relationship the two of them develop. And it's interesting to see somebody who wants, something like inner peace in terms of being a Buddhist monk, but is so like dysfunctional in their life. And it's like, he seems not cut out for it. And I think that's a very interesting, sort of funny subject. And I think it's worth checking out. Be supporting my cousin.
Hopefully we're able to check it out soon.
Yeah. And I think we should move on.
Therapy Dogs,
Therapy
which is probably
Dogs.
the movie I've seen the most this year. The new release that I've seen the most.
Okay.
Because I saw it at Slam Dance, and then I watched it again. And then, because we had Ethan on the podcast, I guess I rewatched it.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure. Is it whack? Great podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played at Real Asian, so I saw it there. And then Jackie did a screening of it. So I've seen it a bunch of times. And it's amazing. It's sort of a like... I kind of could be described as the best high school yearbook ever, because Ethan, the director, and Justin, the star, basically are like documenting their last year of high school, and
supposedly making sort
know.
of a senior video.
Yeah,
the
they're
year.
saying that they're making a senior video for their class, but it's sort of just like they're kind of just filming the happenings of the year, and it's you're even better at summarizing. You should just summarize it. Like, I'm struggling. You just hop in. You're the one who's really good at summarizing, Seb. You're so good at it.
I mean, there's fictionalized elements.
What? Wait.
At
Which
times.
parts?
I don't. Well, I mean, we're spoiling a lot, but there's one sort of big element that is sort of obviously not true. Adam's better at bits. I'm better at summarizing. I don't know where to go with this. I mean, like, you sort of see their relationship get tested. You see them experimenting with alcohol and drugs, or maybe not experimenting, being experienced with that already, and partying. There's a detour that I'm a huge fan of about this guy who's like in the band.
Oh yeah.
That they
So
keep
good.
cutting back to, and it's like they sort of just don't comment on, and it's just like you're just sort of watching him. It's really sort of eclectic. Reminded me of Spring Breakers more than anything. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of sort of quote unquote bad behavior. There's a lot of music and sort of music video style editing, and it's almost like it's like an experience movie.
Yeah, and I also think, I mean, as I said, it feels kind of like a high school yearbook in a way, like not just in terms of that it's literally capturing the final year of school, but it also kind of has that like you're flipping the page and now it's sort of this new vignette of like a moment in the year, a moment in time, or even just kind of like a feeling, like embodying sort of like a core emotion from that year, which I think is so cool. Always really like interestingly visualized. There's also these sort of like Jackass-esque stunts
Yes.
that are like thrown in throughout. And those are super fun as well.
Yes, and a lot of them are clearly real.
Yeah.
Which adds another element of like.
Well, I think it does. It has an interesting play in, I was joking about not knowing that parts of it were
Yeah.
fictional.
But it is hard to. There's only one part where I know it's not.
Yeah, and I think that like that. I think it's a docudrama that like plays, documentary drama, fiction hybrid that like plays with the fact that it is in kind of an interesting way where like there's almost tension to like not knowing what parts are real or not. You don't really want to know which parts are real or not, but that is almost like a tension, an emotional tension of the film as well. It's sort of like when Ethan and Justin's friendship is like tested, for example, I'm like, oh man, I really hope that this is a scripted part. And knowing that the film is like partly scripted, it's sort of like I'm holding on to the hope that like the the kind of bad things that happen.
Yeah, there's also parts that I hope it's okay to say this. I feel like are a little ethically dubious that I sort of when you're watching it, you're like, okay, I hope this was fake.
But I think that tension is like interesting and plays with the form of documentary in an interesting way. And it's also, you kind of think then like, well, what is documentary? Because like, even if parts of these are or moments of this are potentially scripted, well, presumably like the emotion is real. Presumably like it's a
still documenting their headspace.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's interesting when we even try to kind of like define what documentary is or isn't. And I think that it's a film that like plays with that and plays with that form and that idea in an interesting way. So yeah, as a film, super exciting, super great, such an amazing experience, but also like in terms of just exploring the form of documentary, I think that it's a really fascinating film.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and it was shot when they were like 17 or whatever.
Yeah,
in high
in
school
grade 12,
and edited when they were like 19.
Yeah.
So it's it's an amazing achievement, and it's also just like such an experience. It's such it's really moving, and it's like I felt very lucky to see it in theaters.
Hell yeah, check it out. I think it's getting an American distribution now. Hopefully it comes out in Canada somewhere at some point. I mean, it's played in some places, but did you have any honorables?
I had the one other documentary I saw this year.
Nice.
Fire of Love.
Yeah, great flick. I loved that. I wish I could nominate more than one.
I could tell it was great, but for some reason I had like a lot of trouble grabbing onto it. I think lockdown sort of scrambled my brain, which I think we'll get to, and it's hard for me to pay attention to some things. And I felt like it was almost at times like an anthropological lens from them. I thought like it started very personal on them, and then as it went on, I felt like there was a bit of a remove, which I think was very intentional.
Yeah, that's what's so sick about it.
But to me, it was harder to engage with, I guess.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, that's what I thought was so sick. Like, I feel like it's such an awesome exercise in like archival, where it's sort of like we have all this footage that's presumably like helping you to understand these people that are doing this like absolutely crazy, like kind of ununderstandable thing,
It's
and the bond that like connects. Yeah, sorry. If you
I just wanted to say what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about volcanologists or geologists who they're a couple, they're a married couple, and they go extremely way too close to volcanoes. Something that I don't think this spoiler eventually kills them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sort of this exercise of like trying to understand, but knowing that it's almost like as the film goes on, it's like, you know, you'll never really be able to like emotionally like understand why, or get in the headspace of like why people would do this.
Mm-hmm.
But you know that there's like such a like clearly beautiful like emotional bond between these people that like would make them like just share in this thing where they're putting their lives like literally right at the edge. Any moment this could happen. They know it's going to happen at some point probably, and then it does.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, but they did do what they loved.
They seemed extremely content.
Never really understand it, but like that. And the film, again, it's another film that I feel like is playing with like documentary and archival in an interesting way, and that like, yeah, we'll never understand that even as we try to archive this, try to like document this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so sick.
Fergus is shouting out Miranda July, who narrated it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that the first time we did You've Been Summoned, the first time we were summoned in 2018, we did like full podcast episodes around each category when we had more time. And we had subcategories, and you remember documentary was like best narration was one of them.
Oh.
And I was thinking when I was watching it, like even before we like were summoned, I was like, I can't imagine that wouldn't win. Because it's so like emotional.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so like, well, actually, it's so unemotional. It just like creates emotion from like how flat. And I'd never heard her voice before. It's crazy. Her voice is crazy. It's like so raspy and low, and it's amazing performance.
Some honorable mentions.
Yes.
Kids in the Hall, Comedy Punks, which has a couple really good quotes by Tim Blair.
Oh, really? God is a fan of Tim Blair.
But it actually is also I shouldn't say actually, as if I'm surprised, but it's really good. Just documents the kids in the hall and their story and kind of falling out and then ultimately reunion. And it made me so hyped to watch the new show, the new season. And it was a great season. So, hey, yeah, air horns again. Captain Ahab, the story of Dave Steeb, which is a John Boyes document. Do you know John Boyes?
I don't.
John Boyes is like he's one of the people who runs Secret Base, which is this like YouTube channel where they do these wild like sports documentaries.
Oh, did he do like
the Seattle Mariners one you might have heard of?
Did he do the people you're paying to wear shorts?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Which also came out this year. It wasn't as good as this, but it
I've seen people talking about that.
really? What'd they say? Who'd you see?
That's good. On Letterboxd, people kept logging in.
The History of the Seattle Mariners is his best one, which came out a couple years ago and is the History of the Seattle Mariners. But they're these like very long, like I think that one was like 8 hours or something.
Oh wow.
And they are told almost entirely in graphs and charts. Sometimes they'll show clips
Okay.
from games,
Okay.
but it's basically just graphs and charts where he's
Interesting.
sort of breaking down like a bunch of shit. And somehow you get so it really feels like you're in a sports movie. You're so invested in this team winning. And so this one was about a pitcher named Dave Steeb who pitched for the Blue Jays for a long time.
Okay.
So we're in Toronto, you know, right up my alley.
Uh-huh.
And he really like came so close to pitching a no-hitter so many times.
Uh-huh.
And had such incredible like string of bad luck.
Is
to
that
lead
his
him to-
white whale?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's called Captain Ahab. And eventually he gets it, and it's beautiful and whatever. And he's sort of this forgotten pitcher who like never really got the accolades he deserved, even though as John Boyes breaks down, he was like the best pitcher in the league for years.
Uh-huh.
But because of these like kind of old school like sports narratives, he never got any kind of like acclaim or attention. And he just wanted to get this one no hitter, and then he got it, and it's so beautiful. So that was really
That's
good.
Cool. Do you think there's anything in it for non-sports fans?
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
docs?
I think that you can definitely watch it and like not know anything or care at all about sports. And it's the kind of thing where like, I mean, watching sports is fun when you know the narratives. Like the narrative is what
true.
really matters. So yeah, he just breaks down. And actually, I would say like the History of the Seattle Mariners is like maybe the sports movie that comes the closest to sort of like defining why watching sports is like interesting.
Okay.
Beyond just like watching a team win a championship, because the Mariners like they had a couple years where they were good, but most of the time they were terrible for
Right.
like their entire existence.
Uh-huh.
And he's sort of like, it's sort of this exercise in like, why do you care about this team?
Right.
That like is fascinating when you really like know what's going on and are paying attention to the narrative and looking like between the seams. But from the outset, just looks like this boring team that no one really cares about. So it's great. If anyone in chat has seen it,
That's a long shot.
yeah, those are some honorable mentions. This is really good.
Awesome.
Oh, and the Court of the Crimson King was cool. That was a King Crimson documentary.
Oh.
And it was mostly about how everyone hated working with Robert Fripp, who was the main guy in King Crimson.
Interesting. We've lost a light.
It's all.
But
we got
it's all
batteries.
good. I think we should pick.
I agree. And I mean, it has to be Therapy Dogs, I guess.
Yeah, any Crows or White fans. We might lose our second light.
Oh shit!
Speak now or forever hold your peace. If you're a Crows or White fan. All right, I'm moving Therapy Dogs over.
Let's move it over.
There it is.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
What's it going up against next round?
It will be going against our winner for comedy.
No, down here.
Oh, turning red. Wait, should I put it down there?
Yeah.
1 second.
And if anyone's wondering, that question mark is a wild card. That's
There's
going to
two
be
mystery movies.
Yeah, there's two mystery movies that are going to be thrown in on round 2. So they're going to be going up against. Well, the first mystery movie is going to be going up against RRR.
They may be because I didn't know how to run a bracket, and so we needed 2 more movies.
But it's also going to be the best part of the show.
yeah,
So,
so stay tuned.
all right. Next, we got our comedies going up against each other. We got Glass Onion and The People's Joker. No, you're supposed to put Therapy Dogs there.
Okay. Well,
It's like these
nobody
two,
told
these
me.
two.
Want to tell the people about the People's Joker?
Yeah, so The People's Joker, it had one screening at TIFF, and then it got a cease and desist. I was in line when I found out about it. Me and Heather, we were at the screening, and then it had been I guess there were rumblings of like the movie got a cease and desist. It's not.
But
is it going to be the one?
But
and
they
only
still
screening?
played it.
Yeah, I guess somehow they were allowed to play the one screening of it.
I think. Do you want to tell us what it is?
Yeah, so it's kind of this like wild remix film that's also this great queer trans coming of age story, and also kind of like a like critique of like comedy institutions. It's super awesome and like maximalist and like varied in what it's doing. I'm not good at describing plots like Seb.
I'll
but
summarize it. Oh wait,
yeah.
It's literally impossible to see this
yeah.
movie if you weren't at that first screening.
I feel like kind of a jerk for putting it on the list because I know like you literally can't watch it, but it actually was my favorite movie of the year, and I mean probably bolstered by it was such a legendary screening that like we all in the audience knew it was the one and only time it was going to be seen. At least for now. Hopefully somehow something gets sorted out and it can be seen.
I'm
but
sure
it's
there
like,
are ways.
Yeah, but it's
Probably.
like it's taking. I mean, as the title suggests, the Joker is in it, as well as many other comic book villains and heroes and whatever, Batman iconography and stuff. So I guess Warner Bros. Was mad about that. But it's like sort of interpreting all those characters in these very wild, interesting ways. I absolutely love it. I love just like remix art in general and sort of like taking something, messing with it, like creating kind of new meaning out of like the old. And I feel like superhero movies have the potential to be that in like kind of interesting ways because like a lot of these characters are characters that like so many people are intimately familiar with and familiar what they sort of represent and mean. And so to kind of like take that and either like play into that or skew it for like different interpretation or meaning is a like exciting thing.
Yeah.
So it was so awesome to see it done like this. And also just stylistically, it's like, it's got all these kind of like awesome, like overlapping images and shit. And sort of like, it looks very collagey in this kind of awesome way and like DIY and like, I really just, after the screening, I felt so overwhelmed with just like, that was the coolest shit I've ever seen. And I need to see it a bunch of times more and I can't. And that sucks.
Did you say that was your movie of the year?
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Oh, it's so awesome.
And I haven't seen the movie and I can't.
I feel like such a jerk.
But I think it's very cool conceptually that the filmmaker and TIFF under I assume Peter Koplarski,
Yeah, Peter. It was a Midnight Madness.
Midnight Madness knew this would happen and still
Yeah, they
played
must
it.
have known. Although it did have, like, it had screenings planned throughout the festival, and then it was right before
Yeah,
the
in
first one
theory,
that they got.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess who knows.
I mean, they might have thought it would have lasted the festival and never been able to be distributed or something. But yeah, I think that's a very funny and very Joker-like move. So that's great.
And it's like super DIY stuff like that has a tough time getting play at a major festival like TIFF.
Definitely got press,
but we love that shit, and so I'm glad that it had that gala and got to be seen, and
it was a big talked about thing.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
a huge story that it got pulled and everything.
Yeah,
which not ideal, but
no. Yeah.
All right.
But let's hope it gets seen at some point because I'll be there opening day if it ever gets seen. Although I highly doubt it'll ever get to play anywhere, but maybe it'll get leaked.
A bootleg DVD or something. I think that's very possible. I feel like I don't even want to speculate. I feel like there's probably some way to find it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I haven't looked online, but I haven't seen. I don't know. We should probably move on.
We should move on to my pick, Glass Onion.
Did anyone in the chat see People's Joker?
I feel like it's possible.
Yeah.
73rd door. So
Yeah, 73rd door. Were you there?
Anyway,
Okay, sorry.
I think we should move on to my pick, Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, a movie that I don't even like. I just felt.
Then why did you put it on the list?
I felt it was an extremely weak year for comedy, and I felt like it was
I have to look at my honorable mentions.
representative of that, and I wanted to talk about it. I guess because like there were
I like
other
Glass Onion.
there are other comedies like Triangle of Sadness. I guess I liked a little more, but I didn't love it, and I didn't really want to talk about it that much. Hannah DM'd me and said that I should have put The Banshees of Inisherin, which is definitely a better movie and definitely funnier, but I felt dishonest putting it in the comedy category. It's a dramedy.
How's Ed Sheeran in it?
He's really good.
The Banshees of Ed Sheeran is pretty.
Yeah, that's not bad. I thought just because he was English, and the movie is Irish. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think. The
well,
movie's
you
English.
said it, so I don't know. I was
Yeah,
just trying
because
to
the
connect.
Banshees of Ed Sheeran. Did you ever see Yesterday?
No.
Oh,
I
I love it.
Your argument is that he's good in it, right?
Yeah, I think he's good in it.
Yes.
Drop a comment if you agree.
Another Yesterday deep cut. The thumbnail image on Netflix, I don't know if it's true for everyone, but whenever I see it, is an image of James Corden looking at the camera kind of confused. And I think it's really funny, and it makes me laugh every time I see it. I can't imagine he's in the movie more than one scene.
Yeah, I don't. Oh yeah, I think there's like, I guess he goes on James.
I assume
Corden.
he
Yeah,
goes
so-
on James
but
Corden,
that's not
yeah.
like it's not even really
It's
a
not
scene.
important. Yeah.
I think it's even a dream sequence actually.
Interesting. Everyone's dream to go on James Corden.
Well, actually, to be fair, it is a nightmare sequence in the movie.
Okay.
But
okay.
I don't think that part's the nightmare.
Do we want
anyway.
to talk Glass Onion?
Yeah, you don't like it?
I don't care for it. Even though
Why?
I like the first Knives Out, and I like pretty much every Ryan Johnson movie.
Yeah,
other
why don't
than
you
that.
like Glass Onion?
I think it's not funny. I think it's kind of lame. I
I
think
guess, but it's not like you put it in comedy. I don't think it's comedy first and foremost.
I think it's way too much trying to be a comedy. I think the
Really?
first half is all clownery. It's like celebrity cameos. They intentionally, I'm gonna try not to spoil, but they intentionally hide the stakes from you for the first half. So it's just kind of Daniel Craig goofing around. And later we find out there's more going on. But when I was watching it the first time and I didn't know that, I was like, what is this? Why are we wasting so much time on all this goofy stuff? I don't feel grounded in the mystery because it's in this weird sort of sci-fi location that I know is sort of like plausible, but it's still like, it just feels like anything can happen because there's all these like weird rules and whatever. I think the COVID stuff is like kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like, why put it in if they're just going to
Yeah,
be...
but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, if it doesn't matter. And I think the end, which I don't want to talk about, kind of reveals the whole thing to be a joke on a specific person, who definitely deserves it, but again, I think it's just kind of a lame reason to make a movie. And people accuse the first Knives Out of being too Twittery, which like I can see, but I don't think like is too distracting. In this one, I feel like it's super distracting. It feels like just totally like Ryan Johnson's Twitter feed as a movie. And I think that's lame. I hope he gets to make his Star Wars trilogy.
One thing I will say, just because the chat's on a delay, Joseph Milando says he was literally 50 steps away from seeing the People's Joker at 11:30 that night, considered going, and has lived with the consequences ever since.
Yeah. I mean, you should have gone. not to rub salt in the wound here, but okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean,
pretty hard on it.
yeah.
I still like enjoyed it. Like
Yeah,
I had
in
fun.
terms of, I mean, the first half being like, what is this? I don't care. Like, I don't know. Whatever. The thing that I really enjoy is, I mean, it's spelled out pretty obviously and towards the end, but like that glass onion idea of like, you did see everything. There isn't really a twist to the movie.
Yeah.
Like, aside from it being like a structural kind of twist, which,
Well, there's a big twist in the middle, I think.
That's true, but I just mean like every character pretty much is what they appear to be. Like there is that one major character twist, I suppose, actually. But like in terms of like the main plot beats, in terms of like the mystery itself, like the deaths, there's not really like it gives you everything. And the whole idea is that it's like it was there and now we're just kind of looking at it in a different way, which I think is cool. Like I think that just as a mystery, that's a cool like structural thing. My main complaint with it is just that I feel like it looks really bad.
Oh, interesting.
Like I think that the thing that made it feel like kind of comedy to me wasn't even in the writing, was just that like it has that sort of like standing around just kind of talking or like shooting. It's very like overlit. And for a mystery, it's like, come on, you can get wild. Like the one sequence where the lights go off and stuff starts like flashing and they're running around the house and stuff. That was awesome. That looked great. But otherwise, I love digital when done. Great. Like I have no beef with digital. I'm not like digital's bad, but it does have this like digital shine that I feel like looks very bad, and I did not enjoy it.
That's a really interesting point.
I actually liked the script generally, and enjoyed the mystery.
Joseph Orlando says, "Preach, Seb. The structure of Glass Onion is whack, and Ryan Johnson needs his phone compensated."
Thank you, Joseph. But
disagree with the structure. I think that's the best part of the movie.
Well, the thing with the script and stuff is that he has like, I really enjoy the way he like reveals information and stuff. And once that twist happens, I'm sort of on board. And I don't know, it just kind of makes my brain light up in a unique way that like an old mystery does, and I feel like the first one did.
Yeah.
And also on the first one, I remember seeing an article with, I think Steve Yedlin is the DOP, where he was trying to light it like film and try and make it look like film, which I think the first one does pretty successfully.
Yeah, I remember the first one looking better.
I have no idea I don't even know if he shot this one. I might check. But anyway, I don't notice actual filmmaking as much as you do. So that's an interesting point. What was I gonna say? Also,
yeah, it's sort of a No,
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say also though, even though I said I enjoyed that structural thing and I like the idea of like it's all there and then it's just sort of what you expect. It is like a double-edged sword because it's like I like those moves, I like those reveals. But in terms of like character thematically, it does mean that it is just sort of like what it is.
Yeah.
And you sort of get that in the first like hour, and then it's like a structural exercise more than any kind of like
thematic unraveling.
Thematic or character or emotional unraveling, which is fine. Like, not every movie has to be.
Yeah.
But it is a bit of a double-edged sword in this movie where I'm kind of like, then it ends and I'm like, nice. I like how those pieces ended up coming together.
Yeah.
It's sort of leaving my brain a little bit, and it was like the most recent movie I watched. Like it was
of any of these. Yeah.
Because you had it on your list and I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So it was like that and Puss in Boots I watched this past week. And it's sort of leaving my brain already. Yeah. But I enjoyed it while I was watching it. Like it was a good time. I don't know. I think I like it more than you, and you're the one who picked it.
Yeah. I just kind of want to talk about it. I feel like we've had a good convo about it.
Yeah.
Can God add a couple comedy honorable mentions?
Please do.
Yes. Just want to shout out Weird and Jackass 4.
Oh yeah, I didn't see Jackass 4. What's Weird?
The Weird Al Yankovic.
Yes.
Oh my god, I loved that movie. Yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say someone mentioned that to me, but I think it was you.
Yeah, I think I did yesterday. I thought Weird was really funny, and I didn't even go in with that high expectation. Like, I love Weird Al, and then I saw sort of like middling like reviews for it, and I was like, okay, it's probably gonna be like all right. I was laughing like front to back, which is tough in a comedy. Yep. Like a lot of comedies, it's like jam-packed in the first like 40 minutes, and then you sort of peter out as like the story stuff has to happen, the character stuff has to happen, and it is like hard to weave that with like consistent funny comedy. But I think that this did, and it uses cinema for comedy, like the cinematic techniques for comedy, which is like something we love to see and is unfortunately a little rare sometimes. God.
Joseph Orlando says on Glass Onion, I just feel like doubling back midway through makes it feel like, oh, so you solved the mystery without me? Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was fun.
Yeah, I totally agree, because I think the first one, it is especially strong in giving you the information right away and still generating tension from that. Like, like that's kind of almost the twist in the first one, is that early on you find out most of the information, and then there's more reveals from that. But there was an article I read. This guy does a series called Bad Writing where he talked about some of this, but I already thought of it before I read the article. But he mentioned that you're with the characters in the first one. And I think that's true of like the great mysteries, or most of them. You're with the detective. You have the information they have.
Yeah.
And if you're, clever enough as a viewer, you can figure it out before the movie tells you. So this one is like, yeah, as Joseph said, the information the two heroes know, we don't know.
Yeah.
For much of it.
All right, some honorable mentions for me real quick. I don't know if I Like Movies is really it's like on the comedy drama.
It's on the line.
But it's really good. Saw it at TIFF. Directed by a local filmmaker. I think it just got a release.
Yeah, I'm planning to see it.
Definitely go see it. It's really good. Bodies, 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 if you count that as a comedy. I think that's a comedy, right?
Yeah.
I think so. And God saw that. And also, obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the final reveal is one of the funniest jokes of the year for me. God, would you agree with that? Yeah, also Fire Island, if that counts as a comedy.
Right.
Is that really a comedy? Did you see that, God? But okay, you were giving a big thumbs up.
I've heard.
Same with Retrograde, which is another movie directed by a local filmmaker.
Seems like I just didn't see enough comedies.
Yeah, I think there was actually a lot of really good comedies. Yeah, Weird was really good. Is Cha Cha Real Smooth a comedy? I thought that was pretty good.
I had that on my list. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I feel like the drama lets that movie down more than the comedy.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like there's a devastating review. The one the top letterbox review says 2 drafts this time. Which is sort of what it feels like to me. Like it's one of those movies where it like ends like a million times.
Yeah.
But that's pretty mean.
But I liked it.
Yeah.
I like that director. I like Shithouse a lot.
Yeah, I think Shithouse is way better.
Yeah, but I still thought this was really good.
I think that was
pretty good.
Demi Adijulibe with that joke. Just want to credit.
Shout out. Okay, what are we moving over? I mean, you haven't seen The People's Joker.
I still prefer it.
But like you're going so hard on Glass Onion. I feel like we have to do The People's Joker because of my
just your
excitement about it. I feel like outweighs the fact that you haven't seen it.
All right, what do we do now? This next one here?
Yeah.
All right, I think we are moving on to horror/thriller.
Yes, we are.
Which I think both of these are sort of on that line. Pretty definitively horror movies, but also can be enjoyed as thrillers by thriller fans.
A horror movie? Nope's not really a horror movie.
There's 2 very scary scenes in Nope, I think, which we'll get to. Do we want to talk Nope first?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
I mean, I'm famously a baby, so maybe it was just me.
Hold up. Fergus just said before we leave comedy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Triangle
Yes.
of Sadness?
I didn't see it.
I thought it was okay. I definitely didn't think it was that funny. I thought it was
Isn't there a lot of puke in it? That's funny.
That stuff is kind of fun. It's not really my.
Is there
sort of
shitting
thing.
or
there's a lot of shitting and puking.
You don't like
for
shitting?
Sure. But also, I knew I'd heard so much about that scene before I even saw it.
I just did it.
So it wasn't shocking. You just shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a huge fan.
I've been shitting this whole time.
I thought it was okay. I felt kind of the same way about The Square, his last movie.
Yeah, I didn't really love The Square. That's why I didn't watch this. But I love Force Majeure.
I haven't seen that, which is bad of me. But I felt the same way I did about The Square, where it's kind of like easy targets, not like that deep.
It's not bad of you. You don't have to. It's just a movie.
Not that deep of like an analysis. Like,
yeah, that's what I felt about
The Square. It was like kind of fun, like, Yeah. Too long.
Is that like a Rich People Suck movie?
Yes, which
Nice.
there were a lot of this year, and I would say none of them were good.
I gotta look at my list again.
I thought The Menu was bad.
I mean, that's the
Glass Onion was bad.
Well, I like Glass Onion, but that's not the thing I like about Glass Onion at all.
Yeah.
Like it's so shallow.
Yeah.
Like
It's just like
Rich People Suck. I agree. They
just
all
like
suck.
these people are jerks, not like I saw a video. I'm just cribbing from other stuff, but I saw this video that was like, it was about how all the Eat the Rich satires of this year are about how rich people are jerks,
Right.
and not about how it's like immoral to have that amount of
Yeah.
money. I feel like there was another one.
Fergie says fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, but like lots of people
Wait, what
love
was
it.
your
I didn't even
was that
dislike
your
it.
favorite, Fergus? And also, Joseph, did you say what comedy you liked? And anyone else in the comments, please.
Mhm.
It's so lonely here.
But yeah, I didn't fully dislike Triangle of Sadness. Lots of people love it.
I mean, I'm looking at your list. You don't want to mention those other comedies?
No, because I don't like them that much.
Okay. Do you want to describe Nope?
Summarize it?
Yeah.
Sure. It's about two siblings who run a stunt business involving horses in Hollywood, and they spot what they think is an alien spaceship around their ranch, and they decide they want to document it and sell the footage with the help of a guy from like a sort of a like Best Buy type store.
Yeah.
And they work near a ranch run by a former child star who is trying to turn
That stuff's
himself
so good.
into a cowboy image. That's my
Oh my
favorite part of
God.
the movie. It's
Yeah.
great.
That's probably my favorite part of the movie. Or at least my favorite like storyline.
To me, it sort of, I mean, we can get to it, sort of overshadows the rest of the movie, the other characters.
I feel like it all folds in so beautifully as sort of like the presence of the camera, power of the camera to sort of like document in a like to document trauma, but also actually I'm folding many thoughts in at the same time, so
Do
I
it.
should say one thing at a time.
Sort of like the movie.
Exactly. It's so wow.
It's dense.
Yeah. Yeah, the sort of like, well, yeah, the power of the camera, like as the sort of like documentation of trauma, but also like they're trying to capture this like perfect image, and each character sort of has like a different relationship to like what the camera represents, what the camera like kind of defines. Like even the other people that come on the team, there's sort of that guy who can never like capture the perfect image and sort of like goes off like with the inability to like ever get that. Obviously, the whole storyline of like this traumatic incident as a child and now being reinterpreted by another like camera lens, which with the SNL parody, like, and only being able to sort of like understand your own trauma through that.
Yeah, remembering the SNL parody and not your own memory of it. That's my favorite scene in the movie.
Now I'm blanking. Keep talking.
There's a lot there's a lot going on in here.
There's also a movie I saw so long ago as well, so I'm trying to like remember it as I'm talking about it. But
and to me, this one is you're gonna push back on this, but as we've established here, I'm kind of dumb, and and when there's too much going on, I felt like to me, it was like so many metaphors, so many layers that it was hard to even engage with the story or characters on a basic level. I didn't fully. Maybe you were sort of talking about the themes, and we're jumping around here.
Go ahead.
I sort of felt like I didn't fully buy that all they wanted to do was take a picture of it, and I know that's the whole conceit of the film. So I understand like I'm supposed to get past that, but I really struggle to for some reason.
Wait, what do you mean you didn't buy? They just wanted to take a photo of it.
Well, they don't like tell anyone. They're not trying to like kill it or survive. Like they just kind of hang around and try and capture a photo of it to sell, which I didn't really buy as this thing that would make them rich or something.
Yeah, I don't think it will. But I think that's like, it's sort of like, oh, we're like putting our hope in like the camera, even though the camera has like been this like actually destructive force way more often than a positive force. And like for all the characters, it's this like completely destructive. And it's almost this like tragedy of like, this is the only thing that we feel like will help.
Right.
But like, as the audience, we know like it probably won't.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, this is one I'd like to rewatch. That's a very interesting idea. But just like moment to moment, it just felt like it was calling back to a lot of sort of survival thrillers and like monster alien thrillers like Jaws and like Signs and stuff like that. And I didn't feel that emotional urgency because they weren't trying to escape the thing. And I felt like it could have been a thing where that urgency was still there and they were also trying to get a picture of it to, you know, get rich. And then maybe they're endangering themselves to do that, which they do constantly throughout. But I don't know. It was hard for me to...
Though?
Yes.
Sorry, not to interrupt. Sorry,
I don't know. It was just hard for me to buy that idea.
I like there's an alien in the sky, so you know audiences are trained to think that like that must be some kind of danger, because aliens are usually bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the alien is not bad. The alien is this really nice alien that's just like chilling in the sky, and like. I don't know. I like that there's not this sort of like I don't know that the alien isn't the like monster who's. I guess it sucks some people up, right?
Yeah, I think I would push back on that interpretation a little bit. The first thing it does is kill their dad, which I know is an accident. But like
forgot about that.
And it is constantly eating people, and like I know it's.
But who are trying to like disturb it, aren't they?
Joseph says the scene in Notebook, we see the screams OJ has been hearing where it comes from. Fuck.
Yeah, no, I agree. That is one of the two scenes I was talking about that I thought were absolutely terrifying.
Right. Yeah, but aren't they all trying to like sort of like disturb the alien and like...
Well, Steven Yeun is, I guess we're kind of wading into spoilers here if anyone cares, but he's trying to make like a show, but is that a justification to eat all the people who are there? And I know. Okay, I feel like we are spoiling. I'm gonna spoil something here. I love the reveal that it's an animal. I think that's fantastic. And so like it's a wild animal, I guess. Like I'm not like trying to judge it morally, like as if it's a person, but it does eat a lot of people. Like it's not like it's just chilling in the sky.
Yeah, well, they were coming after.
It goes after them even when they're just trying to take a picture of it.
Well, don't try to take a picture of it.
Okay. Oh, and that's the monkey.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, now it's coming together a bit more.
Like it's like that's and now my memory of the film is also starting to come. I should have done some research before I started talking about this. But hey, we're just you know.
Mm-hmm.
We're just throwing our favorites.
We're jamming.
We're trying to remember what stuck with us throughout
This
the
is
year.
sort of like jazz.
This is kind of, we're remembering what stuck.
Yep.
And so that's what's important, you know?
Yes.
But wasn't that the whole mirror with the monkey? Like
Yes.
it's like the people who are taking the images of this monkey also think like, well, we're not doing anything really like exploitative of it. We're not like hurting it. We're not, but it's like the monkey didn't really ask for that.
Yeah, true.
Just that like this like alien thing didn't like ask for it to be documented or like, you know, whatever. I don't remember what happens at the very beginning, to be honest. Like, did it attack out of the blue?
It doesn't attack. It's like, it's that thing where it's like expelling stuff and the coin kills Keith David. But it's not like it's completely...
The coin. Pursuit of profit.
Yes.
Think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those to think
head.
about. And to me, that distracted a little from the characters who I didn't feel like were super fleshed out, especially Daniel Kaluuya. I felt like we did not get too much of an insight into his psychology at all.
Yeah, but he feels like this like old school cowboy archetype, which I think is so cool, and also like is the sort of like stylistic backdrop of the film, and like the quiet lone cowboy who like actually is pained.
Right. Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. I think I've bought less than that in other movies.
Also, sorry. You keep going, please. I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say I've bought less than that in movies that I love, like characters who are who are more sort of thin. But I just think it's so overshadowed by Steven Yeun, who I think is much more
So
interesting than the other characters.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I actually really love all the characters. I love and this also goes along with the exploitative camera and like the camera that like is only interested in like kind of, yeah, pursuit of profit and exploitative, whatever, all that stuff that's mixed in together. But the TMZ reporter, like that was my favorite part of the movie.
I honestly hated that part.
Why?
I just think it's so over the top of like when he's like,
so funny.
Spoilers, I guess, when he's getting killed and he's like, take a picture of me, it's like, we get it. Like, it's just.
Well, you didn't get it. You've just been talking about how you didn't get it.
No, but I get that part, like that it's like he's obsessed with documenting more than like his own safety. And I think that point is made within seconds of him showing up.
Yeah, but it's
not that funny, and then it's just hammered into the ground.
I think it is funny. I think I like that it's just this thing that sort of is waved away right away. I also think that it's like a real world parallel to this like thing that is like represented in so many different like streams within this movie, and to like kind of tie it into like a very specific real world parallel is I think a great thing to like put at the center of the movie.
Yeah, I get that. I did like in that scene, everyone wields a camera like they normally do a gun in a movie. Like there's the cinematographer has like the wind up turret, and then the TMZ guy like brandishes his like weird wrist camera as like a gun. I thought that was.
And also, I feel like we've been talking mostly like thematically, but I also just think like stylistically, I just absolutely love it.
Yeah,
Like it
I
does
agree.
feel like this sort of like old school Hollywood epic, and really like captures that in like physical like scale, like just sort of these like wide expansive fields and whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's so scary and so
The suspense sequences are amazing. Like when he's in the car and like when he's like.
so perfectly happy. I love the sound design, which it's been a long time, so I'm not gonna be able to like speak on it eloquently, but I just I remember especially the sucking when they're in like the tube thing. Like I just remember being so taken in the theater by how that sounded.
Yeah, and like Joseph mentioned, the scene of people screaming. It's like I've seen people screaming in a movie so many times. It's really disturbing in that context, in that scene. Yeah, I guess I'm like when I'm talking about it, I like it, and it's always something I felt like I was wrong about because the cool and smart people loved it.
Yeah, like me
Yeah, like Adam
and God.
But
Wait,
I
God,
just
you liked it, right?
I guess I just kind of felt like I don't know. There was so much a focus on theme that was so upfront that the story was a little lost or took a backseat, I guess.
Yeah, I get. I mean, but you're still describing the themes as being sort of like you didn't fully get a grasp that you said, and they felt not the most penetrable.
Well, no, I felt but they were that as well
But
as
you
being
still feel
thrown
like they
at
were
me.
like foregrounded.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree.
And there were a lot of things that I found interesting about it, like thematically. Like, I'm not saying I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
I just felt like, I don't know. When I'm saying it now, it feels like I'm saying I was forced to think, and I didn't like that. But it's I don't know. I just felt like at the end, I didn't feel too much emotion towards the characters, or like I don't know. I wasn't swept up in the finale the way I felt like I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
That's
I can
fine.
fully
Like-
articulate why.
No. I understand that. I mean, obviously that's how you felt watching it, so I'm not say you're wrong at all. But I actually felt like, I don't know. I didn't really feel like it was actually, even though we talked mostly about theme in this conversation, I actually sort of enjoyed that it didn't feel like it was like really foregrounding theme. Like it felt like a tension exercise more than kind of anything else, with like this rich thematicism like underneath it. Whereas like, I don't know, to just not to just compare to his past films. The past
No,
films that
but
he's directed.
but
like I do feel like, I mean, Get Out is a very like on the nose film, and I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Us, I also love, but it does feel like it's like it's inviting you to sort of like think the whole time, what does this thing represent? And as we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
the malleability of that is exciting. Like, and so I feel like that really works. But this film, it just felt like it's this great tension genre exercise that like is still rich thematically.
Yeah.
Because, Peele's a fantastic writer and director, but it didn't actually seem like the most like important thing about the film.
We should move on. But I guess the one thing I would say with us is that I felt like
You and me?
a difference between them is there's the engine of survival
Right.
going through. Like they're constantly being chased, and I'm thinking about that stuff. Well, I'm like, oh, they got to get out of danger. Whereas nope, I felt like they could leave any time. So I'm just sitting there like thinking about more what it means than like being caught up in the tension. Anyway, it feels like a nitpick, but
So that was my pick, but I also love the one that you picked.
yes.
Do you want to do honorable mentions first?
Sure. I think it was a really good year for horror.
Yeah, I love Nope. I mean, I already mentioned Mad God in animation, but it's also it's almost more. If you weren't going to put it in the animation category,
no,
it's
horrific.
So horrific.
I think the hardest movie to watch of the year for me.
Yeah.
We're all going to the World's Fair.
Yeah, I really wanted to see that.
Low budget horror, terrifying. I think really emotional, amazing performance. Really great internet era movie. I think highly recommended. Resurrection is one of the weirdest movies of the year.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that.
Not what I expected at all, and then really fantastic. I think really give it a shot. Also amazing performances. I liked X a lot as well.
Also didn't see that. I guess I was bad about watching.
I did not see Pearl yet, but X I thought was a lot of fun and was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't see any of those, but I liked Unidentified, which I saw at Real Asian, which was I guess more of a drama, but it sort of got like not really a horror thriller. There's just like aliens. You have an alien category.
Yeah, strong year for aliens. Could I ask God a question real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Just some logistical stuff with God. Did you have more?
Open Doom Crescendo was really sick. Probably do a screening of it at some point.
Right.
So
right. Watch out for that.
Okay, we can move on.
Barbarian.
Oh, I liked Slashback. That was pretty good.
Barbarian was my pick. I love Barbarian.
All right, and moving on. Oh shit.
I was gonna say about Barbarian that I feel like you can have beef with the story, which some people do, and I understand that. But to me, what sticks out is that I think this is the best told movie of the year in terms of a traditional
I think
screenplay.
I do a little Adam Award spreadsheet. I think I gave it the original screenplay win. It's such a sick screenplay. And also incredible performances. Like, I mean, Justin Long, obviously.
That's my performance of the year.
Yeah,
or lead
He's
male
up there for me. You put him as lead, though?
I thought I could get away with him as lead.
Yeah. I mean, it's on the line.
He's like the lead of...
True.
Yeah.
But I also love... who's the guy at the start?
Skarsgård? Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. And you really buy that he could, he's...
He could go either way.
Yeah, he could go either way. Like, is this guy scary? Or, is he being, And that's what makes the whole first, 40 minutes of the movie so good.
He's scaring a lot.
But no, I love Barbarian.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I knew nothing about it going in, which is, it is, that's kind of the thing
best
about
way
it. You kind of should know nothing going in. And just blew me away. And the twist, the Justin Long reveal is, one of the best twists, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's
So
the interesting thing is because, I think, watch it if you want to because it's fantastic and don't listen to us. But I want to try not to spoil stuff. But I would say
listen to us. What are you talking about?
I would say that people talked about it like it was a twist movie, like it was like a Parasite sort of crazy twist thing. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's just so well written that every reveal of information feels seismic. Because then there was a backlash where people were like, what's the twist? I went in and there was no twist. But it's it's just so well structured that it jumps perspectives, it jumps through time, it jumps through all these different characters and their histories and stuff. But it feels like just so natural and it flows so well. And that I think is rare enough now that people thought it was a twist.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it is best if you know nothing, and like, I think it would be hurt if everything was revealed, but like it just chose where to go in interesting ways and like drop those things in at the perfect time, and that felt like revelatory every
100%
time.
I agree. Like, it just feels like it's making an interesting choice at every turn.
Yeah.
And I mean, making choices, that's all you can ask out of a movie. Right or wrong, just make a choice, you know.
And yeah, I think there's an argument that like it's too fun for the subject that it's doing, but it is like an exploitation movie.
Yeah.
It's like definitely choosing to be tasteless. And I think some people made the argument it doesn't go far enough in that direction either, because there's like also sort of some like a current event political stuff in there as well. But I think like just in terms of being like a mainstream movie, even though it's so dark and stuff, like just in terms of like mainstream Hollywood storytelling, you could not beat it this year.
Just in the interest of time,
Yes.
Barbarian or Nope?
I could be pushed, but
Uh,
because like I can tell Nope is a good movie. I just don't really understand why.
you don't understand why.
Like
I feel like it's right up your alley. Like, I'm so shocked that you didn't like it as much. Like, yeah, God?
Joseph Malanda saying the tape measure scene with Justin Law was one of the funniest
It's
scenes.
so
in the
Yeah,
funny. Oh my
yeah,
God,
it's great, and it's such a there's so much. I don't want to spoil again. There's so much detail to that character. Like it's
Yeah.
not, and I think you could argue there's much less to the other main character, and that might be a bit of a problem.
Fergus is putting his vote Barbarian.
But I
Joseph, we
think
got to hear from you.
yes, we'd love to hear from you, Joseph. But there's a scene in
Need a
that
Nope vote,
in,
please.
in where Justin Long, he hasn't told his parents he's in town, and that comes out as just a subtle implication in a phone call he has with them. And I think there's so much in that, and there's so many little details like that that feel so real in that character, which I think makes him even funnier.
God, what's your vote?
Barbarian.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
wow.
I mean, we got 3 Barbarians, so even if Joseph said,
And I'm very
but,
curious to hear because I feel like this is Joseph's genre as well.
oh yeah,
So I'm curious to see. But
yeah. I
I'm
mean, let's
happy
move
to move it
Barbarian
over.
over. But
I'm
what do you mean that Nope's not your kind of film? Like, I really, I don't know.
I don't like it. Just like
Also, you love like old Hollywood westerns, which I know it
Yes.
not but it's like really
no,
like
but
playing
I
on the
like that stuff
iconography
too.
of that. Like,
yeah, I love
that's-
he's ran the horse.
Joseph said he's a no pay.
Thank you, Joseph.
Ah,
we
cool.
lose, but I appreciate the support.
Also, I was proud of myself for noticing this. Do you know the last chase is OJ literally on a white Bronco?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it has so much stuff I love. I love so much of it. The
And
the
OJ
flashback is one of my favorite scenes of the year.
I mean, like, you can certainly tie exploitation into
Yeah,
the
of
story of
course.
OJ, and like
There's so many
exploitation
layers
in
to
front
that.
of the camera too. Like,
Yeah, and like gawking.
Yeah.
Ehrlich's review is really good, where he talks about that in the movie they talk about bad miracles, the horrific things that we can't look away from,
Right,
that we
yeah,
want to
yeah.
capture rather than like actually address and stuff. I mean, all that's
See, you love it, man.
well,
What are you
maybe
talking
it's
about?
just like a lot of this stuff hit me after, and when I was watching it, I was like kind of unengaged.
Hey,
yeah,
and
I don't
you know, a lot of movie watching is just like, how do you react emotionally?
It's more thing. I also don't like the department store guy. I think he's annoying.
I think he's cool, and I like him, and he's my friend. No. Barbarian won. Oh, wait, I moved Nope over. I'm sorry.
Well, we were talking about it. I didn't even notice that you did that.
You want to talk about the? I guess we should go. We should move a little quicker. I don't know, what time are we at?
We're only 5 minutes behind right
Okay, noise.
now. Other than we started 50 minutes late, but otherwise.
Oh yeah.
God says we're only 5 minutes behind. Okay. Drama. Let's talk drama.
Yeah. You picked After Yang, which I will say is another movie that I watched over a year ago, or probably like a year ago. So you got to remind me about stuff. But I did love it. I really loved it at the time. And actually, I feel like I remember being very emotionally taken by it. So
Yeah.
please The floor is yours.
It is just in terms of plot summary. It's set in a future where there are humanoid robots who are extremely lifelike, and Colin Farrell plays a dad whose daughter's like sort of caretaker robot, Yang, runs out of battery. Like he has, the equivalent of dying for a robot, and it's sort of him trying to get Yang repaired, and then sort of trying to deal with Yang's absence, getting to know more about his daughter and more about Yang. And it's very gentle, very small. I think very beautiful. It's directed by Kogonada, who directed Columbus, which is another very like muted sort of like gentle movie. It reminds me of Kurosawa a little bit in how it moves around. It's like really, like I loved it. I feel like I'm struggling to remember a lot of it but I think there are movies that are like that, where it's like, it's not about like these big moments.
Yeah, it's more of an emotional mood piece. Anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's sort of, hard to like, I don't know. Yeah, recall like specific.
Yeah.
It also has been a long time. I'm not saying this.
Yeah. Me
that
too.
The movie
yeah.
isn't easy to recall.
But
It's been literally like a year.
it's like it has this such a strong like melancholy tone, but it also isn't like a one-tone movie. I think like parts of it are extremely sad. Parts of it I think are pretty funny. Like the first little bit is almost like he's taking like an iPhone to different Apple stores. Like
Yeah.
it's like there's sort of the bureaucracy of like needing to repair this robot. But I feel like it's, there's a lot in it, like about grief, about like how we remember people when they're gone, the different ways like kind of love manifests for different people. There's an element I really like where Yang has sort of been raising the daughter, and there's a bit of like how technology is sort of raising this generation, our generation as well. And like, sort of reminded me of Searching in that like
Sick.
Colin Farrell has to discover both Yang, who's almost like an adoptive son, and his daughter through their online history, because they have like these whole other lives that he doesn't know about online. I think Colin Farrell, is really, really good in it.
He's so good in it.
He's like, I remember people used to say like he's a character actor, and like when he's a lead, he can be a little like boring. He's like so carries it. Like he's perfect. He's like not doing anything like showy, but he's just like so like magnetic still. Like even though he's playing just a regular guy, there's these scenes where he's like watching stuff through these glasses that sort of like, I think they have Yang's direct like memories in them, and there's just so well done. And the whole cast is fantastic. Starts on a great dance sequence. I loved it.
God wants to know, is this the best Colin Farrell performance of the year?
That's a tough
Wow.
one because he's so funny in Banshees. He's really, really good in Banshees. He's playing a character who, as described by the movie, is dull and uninteresting, and he's convincing but still so fascinating as that. I don't know. Like,
And he also is in Batman.
he's in, he's in Batman.
He's whatever.
He's like pretty good in
He's
Batman.
amming it up. I like it.
I just
kinda.
don't. I'm not like super into this. Like, let's pile makeup on someone to just
Yeah.
make them look like so many actors look like that. Like, just have like an actor who looks like that be that. But like for what it is, he's fine. He's hammy.
Yeah.
But like, if I was doing the Oscars, I might nominate him twice for this and Banshees. Maybe it's Banshees. Banshees a little more showy. So it's hard to tell. But like, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
I threw a lot at you.
No, I don't have. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot to add, but I absolutely loved it as well. I think, all that thematic stuff is like super rich and interesting. And also like, I was taken by the mood of it as well. And as you were saying, it's not a one-tone film, but it sort of like still has this like kind of singular, like melancholic mood that's sort of overriding the whole thing, that is impressive, that it's still able to like have these moments of humor and of love and of it's the kind of thing where like it's I wouldn't say easy, but it's like a kind of easier decision to make sort of a film about grief that's like very kind of monotonically like, well, this is what it feels like.
Yeah.
And that's not untrue. And I think that there are movies that do that are really good. But it's like, you know, life is filled every day, even in like the deepest of sadness. It's like there are moments of joy, there are moments of like lightness, there are moments of like humor that sort of like it's sometimes tough for a film to feel really like honest emotionally when it's like so like just monotone, because
life isn't
monotone
isn't usually
like
that. Yeah.
every day. So yeah, that's kind of a sidebar, but that was something that I really like was taken by in After Yang, that it feels like it's like able to sort of very effectively like capture this melancholic grief-esque mood, while still like kind of having these very honest like flourishes, and it makes the emotional stuff hit harder with something to contrast it. Like you kind of need both. That's why a lot of like comedies, the emotional moments in comedies often like hit me harder than the emotional moments in drama.
Yeah, no,
it's
for
like,
sure. It's
I
unexpected.
just felt
and
this
it,
emotion, and now you're making me feel like this emotion. You've put me at like a wider spectrum, which makes it feel more like honest to life. So
yeah, for sure. I also
big sidebar away from After Yang, but I do love that about it. And
no, I think that's a special thing about it, and I think something it has in common with your pick is that it doesn't really tell you how to feel about a lot of it. Like it's like there's a lot of scenes where it's like, I don't know, it just feels very open to your interpretation and your emotion. Like even in sad scenes, it's kind of like, I don't know, it feels complicated and there's like a variety of different perspectives, or it's like just kind of leaves you in the silence of something. And like,
yeah.
I don't know. I
What's
love
the
it.
transition you're gonna make to my pick? Because that seemed pretty sick.
I feel like your pick is a whole movie about not wanting to tell you how to feel about its central character. Just
Love
giving
that.
you all the
That's
info
so cool.
and trusting you'll make your own decision.
Yeah. I mean, yes, and I think that also like one of the Tar is the pick is the pick. And I think that like Lydia Tarr as a character is someone who's like very much trying to control the narrative of like who she is in real life. Not to spoil it, but sort of like the reveals towards the end of like who she really is and sort of the persona that she was like trying to present as for her entire life and her entire career is a key crucial part of the movie. But I think that that's there from like the very beginning. It starts off with like, is there something before the interview? It's like there's like a long like 10-minute interview where she's basically just defining her, or you're kind of understanding who she is and how she presents herself to the world, and like this other person is sort of defining her by her accolades and through all that. And it's a movie that is about a lot, but I think like one of the core tenets of like Lydia Tarr as a character is like trying to like kind of like how you present yourself to the world versus like the person that you actually are. And so for it to be a movie, or the person that you actually feel like you are, and like why you have to present yourself to the world in order to like either compensate or whatever for the person that you may truly be or feel like you are.
Right.
And anyway, I'm trying to like describe stuff without kind of like spoiling stuff too much, but like it's interesting that then like cinematically, as you say, it's I think a very like kind of empathetic movie, I guess, that like doesn't really like cast judgment and kind of makes you be like, well, this is who I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it displays her in the nicest of lights, I guess, but it's also not like mean or unempathetic. I don't know. I kind of hard to describe. It's just a feeling. But.
Yeah, but it's very muted. Like there's not big emotional overtures of like, there's not a lot of scenes where it's like you really feel like, oh, the point of this was to make you mad or to like, there's just like a lot of stuff and you kind of like try and put it together. Should we do a quick summary?
Yeah.
Tar is about Lydia Tarr, who's a famous and acclaimed
Maybe the
composer.
only character who I can remember her full name.
Yeah, it's I feel like it's said a lot.
But I mean, it is in the title, and also, I feel like they say Lydia Tarr so much.
And it becomes
also her name is
important
actually
later,
an important part of the movie thematically.
She's a famous acclaimed composer, and it's sort of, honestly, like that's most of it. It's sort of like her personal and professional life in great detail. And then I don't think it's a spoiler to say it starts unraveling.
Yeah.
And we're a witness to that. I liked it. As we've covered, I'm dumb.
You're not. Why
There's
do you keep saying that?
No explosions
All
in
that
this
stuff
movie.
you said about After Yang, like
There's
you
very
were so
okay,
smart.
but After Yang
sounded
has
so smart.
has a robot in it, so my brain goes, okay, you're supposed to pay attention to this, but there are no
Have
robots
you
in
seen
Tar.
AI, artificial intelligence?
No, I think I would love
Really?
it. Yeah, I don't know
That
why,
would be like your favorite movie.
I
ever.
know, it
It's one
probably
of my
will
favorite
be.
movies.
but it's like
God, have you seen it?
Yeah.
And oh yeah, I remember you
scared
telling
God
me
as a
that.
kid.
And God doesn't get scared often.
Put the fear of God in God. So it was. This one is, I think, intentionally almost hostile in how slow it is, and like maybe that's overstating it. But it's,
I
it's,
don't. There's movies that I don't really.
I don't know.
There's so many like the slow cinema trend,
Mhm.
where it's sort of slow.
Yeah.
Not a lot
Okay. No, I
happening,
won't
like-
say it's. I won't say it's like super slow. But
I mean, it is kind of in that realm, but like I think it's just like I think it's a lot denser than that.
yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not trying to starve you of things
Yeah.
to think about or bore you on purpose or anything.
Yeah.
I just think it's like intentionally like muted in emotion,
Right.
and there's not a lot of big dramatic scenes. But I think that's a strength of it. It's just not something that I personally am able to latch onto as well. We're getting a lot of those, I guess, this year. But
Can I say one like cinematic thing I really enjoyed that like I feel like it mirrors that sort of theme in like an interesting way?
Yes, you can.
I really like that scene where she's in the classroom arguing with that student,
Yes.
and it's all shot as this like long oneer that's like really interestingly shot. Like it's just such an incredible shot, actually, moving around the classroom, and it's like 5 minutes long or whatever, and it's awesome. And then part of her unraveling is like that video being posted and being like spliced up,
Right.
and being like, I mean, not entirely taken out of context, but definitely like, I mean, it's the fact that they shot it as this like one shot, and it's sort of like how were things presented in that room
Right.
genuinely, even
Right,
if that's
right.
still a like a layer of presentation because you're still presenting yourself in some kind of way and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, how is it presented in that room, like genuinely, and then how does that sort of get like manipulated?
Right.
I think was a really cool choice, and like was something I've thought about a lot since then.
Yeah. I mean,
A
I
lot of
think
stuff like that in the movie that I think is really smart and just
it's something I think I liked a little more in retrospect than while I was watching it. That scene, I think something that's interesting is like the scene is sort of like a bit of a debate about separating the art from the artist between her and her student. And then I think the movie is kind of like makes it impossible to do that with Lydia. Like her character as a person is so involved in her career, like in terms of like her desire for power and stuff. Like you wouldn't be able to talk about her career without that stuff. Like it would be less interesting. So I think that was an interesting counterpoint. I don't think,
and also that like who is she without like her career? Like for herself, she seems to define herself so much through like
yes,
her accolades and through her career and whatever. So it's like even if you were to speak to her like interpersonally, it's like, well, she doesn't seem to separate herself from her work.
yeah,
But then she's sort of asking you to like separate others from their work. And it's also a defensive thing, obviously, because she's
Yeah.
done
yeah,
like
right,
heinous things in her life as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think the movie isn't completely dismissing her argument.
No, and that's
which
what I
think
like
is
about
cool.
it. Like,
yeah.
and I think that was actually the strength of like showing the entirety of that scene, and then like I'm saying, it's sort of being like distorted. It's like I think that the movie is really trying to like have this conversation and not really like be a judgmental movie.
yeah,
And I think that that's cool, and I think that's interesting. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's like the cancel culture movie."
Yeah.
That was like a thing that I heard about it before going in. And like, I mean, she does get canceled. Spoiler alert. So I guess you could say it is about that in a way. But I think that is like missing a lot of like nuance of what it's really about. But
it's also like this is maybe the least interesting way to talk about it, but it's also like that stuff would have brought her down pre-cancel culture as well.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's like she tweeted something bad.
Yeah.
The only part I thought like waded into it in a weird way, which you made a very good case for it, but it's the out of context video where it's like I felt like it would have been interesting if she was being attacked for the substance of what she said. But of course that does happen where people are taken out of context. I just see
and
that
that's just like a snowball thing though. Like it's not like that's the thing that got her.
Yeah, true.
But yeah.
I just see that sort of stuff in a lot of like reactionary like stuff. I think by older people, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get taken out of context, and so I thought, but you get my point. I like the movie.
I love Tar. I love Tar so much. I think like we're scratching the surface.
Yes,
but also we're kind of scratching the surface with all the movies.
Yes,
we're only talking about them for like 10 minutes each. But I don't know. I mean, what's your pick? My pick is still Tar, but I mean, I love After Yang.
Yeah,
I assume your pick is still After Yang.
I would love the weigh-in from God
wins.
or comments because I'm good either way on this one.
God has seen neither of these movies.
Which one sounded more interesting
which
to you?
sounded better.
Comments. We need you.
Anybody?
And while we're asking for the comments, I'll look up some honorable mentions.
Can I throw mine in? I got them.
Yeah.
I love Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it,
it was hilarious. It was really well done. I can't weigh in on its portrayal of the Irish Civil War, which I think people maybe took issue with. I love Fablemans.
Yeah,
I understand
Fableman's
it's
really
the uncool pick, but it's so good.
Yeah,
so
but
well
now
done.
it's like it's kind of cool.
Now it's the kind of underdog
because it was like it was like, oh, this is absolutely going to win Best Picture. There's no way it doesn't. And then it like kind of flopped.
Yeah.
And now it almost feels like it's like underrated already.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, it is really good.
We got an After Sun shout out from Fergus.
I never saw After Sun. I heard.
There's just some things where it's like I know it's good, but I know I'm gonna like not enjoy watching it, and so it keeps getting delayed on my watch list. But
I just only have time for a certain amount of movies. I'm so sorry, everyone.
We also got a vote for Lydia from Joseph.
Yes, Joseph. Nice. Fergus, you if you want, I guess you said After Sun, which is close.
That's
to
pretty
After
close
Yang.
to After Yang. I'm counting it.
Sorry, are you still doing?
I didn't love this one. I feel like you did, but I liked 3,000 Years of Longing.
Love 3,000 Years of Longing.
He's just a interesting artist.
I mean, one of my favorite directors.
And I think he's neat. Even when I don't like love the movie.
That was such a bummer that flopped so hard.
Yeah.
Not that I guess I was expecting.
It's very like uncommercial as well. But that's a cool movie if you are interested in George Miller, who made Mad Max. He made this movie that no one talked about and just kind of came and went.
I love it. It was one of my favorites of the year. I have it 13th on my list.
Nice.
That's pretty good though.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Can I give you my top 10?
Sure.
People's Joker, Everything Ever All at Once, Therapy Dogs, This Place Rules, which I loved at the time.
Ooh,
but, you know,
boo you.
I know. I actually forgot to mention that in the documentary, but I liked the movie at the time. I mean, I can't speak to Andrew Callahan as a person, but I saw it before that. Put it on my list before that.
I always had a bad feeling about it, and I never liked his work.
Tar, Turning Red, Nope, Mad God, RRR, and After Yang.
And we covered a lot of your faves here. That's great.
Okay, 3,000 Years of Longing was on my list.
My top 10 were all action movies.
Hell yeah. Armageddon Time, did you see that?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Don't you love James Gray?
I do.
Yeah.
It's just that I was working full time for a lot of. Yeah.
It's good.
So I missed all the good stuff.
Neptune Frost. It's kind of a drama, I guess.
I've never heard of this one.
I never shouted out Matilda, the musical, which I thought was pretty good. Elvis was like good.
I liked Elvis.
I liked Elvis.
I was surprised
a lot
how
for
much
the first 75%. And then it kind of becomes
it definitely
like a
falls off
biopic
after that
thing, and I'm like, oh, it's such a bummer because otherwise this would be so awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I was still into it. It's so stupid. It's like so like commits to being stupid, and I love that. And he's such an interesting director.
This is a Greek film called Apples that I liked. I kind of liked Dog.
Kind of liked Kimmy.
Oh, I didn't see
for
that.
any of the Soderbergh heads.
Kind of like Bones and All.
Yeah, I'm kind of out of the stuff I liked actually. I pretty much mentioned
I think
all the
I said
stuff
like all the stuff in my top 40.
All right.
At some point or another. Yeah.
Adam saw.
Oh, I mean, you know, I liked Avatar. Did we ever say Avatar? Oh, we said it in animation.
And I mentioned action as well.
Oh, and The House was pretty good. Animated movie. I forgot to mention that. I think I've said everything in my top 40 now.
The final battle sequence
Oh.
of Avatar is the best action scene of the year.
And Hustle was pretty good.
Yeah, Hustle's all right.
So was that Tar? Because Joseph.
I think that was Tar.
All right, sick. Oh, I forgot to move Barbarian over here. Do you
You're
wanna...
so against moving Barbarian.
Well, it's because I put note back and then I was like, the job's done. Flip it towards the camera. Okay, so now we're into round 2. We're gonna do these ones, pretty quick.
When do the mystery movies come out?
I think now. We've already talked about, all these except for the mystery movies. Here's the thing. We had not the right amount of movies for a bracket, which we realized like right before we were going to start. So we threw some mystery movies in here. And we'll see what's going to go up against RRR.
Okay,
You got any
great.
guesses?
Of your mystery movie?
yeah.
Have you mentioned it today?
Nope.
No, it's not Nope. Nope's over there. Ah, interesting.
Minions, The Rise of Gru.
Wow, this is gonna be a tough one.
And I think actually...
It's Minions Rise of Gru, because I
Minions
think you
Rise
said
of
that
Gru.
off mic.
And actually, we have someone here to help make a case.
It's not one of those gentle minions, is it? Oh my god.
Wow. So
Is that Bob? What does Bob have
Yep.
to say?
all right? So why do you think Minions: Rise of Gru is the best film of the year? It's a pretty good
That's a good
case.
point.
It's a pretty good case.
I'm surprised he didn't mention banana.
Banana.
Did you see Minions: Rise of Gru?
I did not.
It's kind of good.
Okay, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Funke gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd.
Wow. I mean, that's
Shout
a
out to
little generous
Funke.
in my opinion, but it is good.
It had my attention.
Okay, here's the
watching
thing. I know Minions. It's kind of like where's the irony start? Whatever.
it. Right.
The Minions are actually funny in the Despicable Me movies. Like I don't love those movies, but I
Yeah.
think they're funny.
They're kind of funny.
They're funny. They're the best parts of the movies, in my opinion.
I don't feel that. Yeah,
The
sure.
Minions
Oh,
movie's
sure.
not
Yeah,
good.
no, I don't like Despicable Me. But like,
Did you see Rise of Gru?
I didn't. I saw the first. You also disliked the first one, though, right?
The first one's okay.
I think the
second
first one is awful.
The second. Wait, God, we watched them together, but now I'm forgetting.
First one's good.
oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
right, God voice. First one's good.
First one's good.
It's weird to say awful. Second one's bad.
I think
one bad.
I saw
Third one good.
I saw the
Third
first
one.
one.
I remember being.
I saw the
good.
first one in theaters,
Okay,
and
that's your problem.
everyone was so ready to laugh because when they did the banana joke, brought the house down. No one laughed at any other part because there's no jokes in it.
Well, I'm really happy for the Gentle Minions. I think it was a good challenge, and I'm glad that the kids were
There
going
worse
back
trends.
to the theater.
Yeah, it was a positive
It
thing.
was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so but what wins between Minions: The Rise of Gru versus?
I mean, I haven't seen
RRR.
It could be perfect.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with RRR.
Okay.
Unfortunately, for the
Okay.
Minions, they're
It's advancing
it ends here, but if we can get one final word from.
from Bob.
Blah, 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 banana.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, you want to move RRR over?
Where am I moving it to?
I guess like the below. Oh yeah, there's good. Okay, Mystery versus People's Joker.
Okay.
Let's see. What do you got? What are you unveiling for us? One of the best movies of the year. Lightyear. Did you see it? I didn't even see it. How was it?
Okay. It's not that bad.
Really?
Well, okay. A lot of it is very bad, but there's it has this weird like interstellar type thing where he keeps going forward in time and all his
That
friends
sounds
keep
cool.
dying. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
like
that sounds actually
there's
good.
there's sort of like these weird sci-fi interesting ideas in it. A lot of the rest of it is not that good. He's not like an engaging character really, and like there's like a bunch of crappy funny sidekicks and like all it's kind of there's like this lame thread about teamwork.
Yeah.
But
You don't
it's
like teamwork?
it's weird how like ambitious some of the sci-fi stuff is, and I sort of respect that.
People are making a lot of jokes with the premise,
Premise is very strange.
but I think it's kind of interesting. Like the movie that would be the thing that Toy Andy really loves. I've
yes,
also
well,
heard it
that's
doesn't.
completely abandoned.
Yeah, I've kind of
because
heard that, but it's a kind of interesting idea.
It's such a like it's if you don't know, it's supposed to be that Andy saw it when he was a kid, and Andy from Toy Story, and that's why he likes Buzz Lightyear. But it's like they could have made it like a '90s blockbuster, and that would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
But they, of course,
Yeah,
they
that's what
don't.
I-
It's just
yeah,
like a
it's like-
modern
that's a
movie
cool
with
premise
shitty
if
modern
they do that.
jokes and stuff.
Okay, Turning Red or Therapy Dogs? Just give me your pick.
Therapy Dogs.
Yeah, it's Therapy Dogs for me also.
Nice.
So that's gonna face off against RRR in the next round. But first I guess we're picking the People's Joker over Lightyear, right?
Okay.
I mean, like, you don't seem that passionate about it. Okay, we got Tar versus Barbarian.
I mean, it's an easy pick for
Wait,
me, but
Did
I
we
feel
get
like
an
this
applause
might...
on that one?
And if chat wants to weigh in, I know we're moving pretty fast.
Yeah, I think we need a chat vote for that one.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's still Tar for me, but I love Barbarian.
Yeah.
Or, God didn't watch Tar, right? Okay, well, let's keep moving. We're waiting on a vote for that. We could do RRR versus Therapy Dogs. Which one makes it to the finals from the left bracket?
To me, it's RRR, but I love Therapy Dogs. Yeah, honestly, like, that's kind of a tough one.
I mean, it's Therapy Dogs for me, but I also love RRR. That's I mean, we could do I could give you RRR if you give me Tar. Actually, I don't know.
I'm kind of tempted to give it to Therapy Dogs.
Yeah, come
Even
on,
though
dude.
I love
That's
art. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
one of my favorites of the year. Let's go, Therapy Dogs. Yeah.
What am I supposed to
Maybe
do?
just put Therapy Dogs
Supposed to
right
move these
there,
two.
I guess. Yeah, we should have made these smaller.
No, they're cool. They're
Did
visual.
anyone weigh in on Barbarian versus Tar?
Anyone weigh in on anything?
Fergus says Barbarian is wild and unique.
Agreed.
That feels like the
All right,
Barbarian
let's give it
vote.
to Barbarian then.
Okay.
I'll take it. I mean, we got to split the vote somehow. And I still love Barbarian.
Are these the final two?
And I feel like no, Barbarian versus People's Joker. But I mean, I think that's probably where People's Joker has to.
Yeah, I
has to
think
end.
that
I
pretty
love-
impressive run.
I mean, the People's Joker for me, I already said it's my favorite movie of the year. If it ever gets released, I hope people watch it. But I know Seb hasn't seen it, so it kind of had a. It was easy.
Big
It was going up against
disadvantage,
movies
yeah.
that Seb didn't like, so that was great.
It's the underdog story this season.
But we're gonna have to go Barbarian versus Therapy Dogs in the finals. Okay, well let's move. Let's move these over.
I don't know why I wouldn't have called this finale.
Yeah, I don't know. What were you expecting?
I don't know.
I didn't really. I mean, I knew you didn't really like Everything Overall, or didn't love Everything Overall at once, so I wasn't expecting that. I feel like the ones that I was the hottest on. Well, except for Therapy Dogs, that kind of makes sense actually, because I think my three favorite of the year were People's Joker, Everything Ever All at Once, and Therapy Dogs. And then like Tar is a little bit below that, and Nope, and the other ones I picked, but Turning Red. I guess that's all the ones.
I'm sort of leaning Therapy Dogs as the movie. Barbarian seems random, even though I love it. And it's one of my movies of the year.
I mean,
Therapy Dogs
there's
makes
no
more sense.
complaints for me.
It's also like we kind of know him, and it's like shot in like the neighborhood that we went to high school, and it's like, isn't it?
Well, in Mississauga.
Okay, well, it's shot pretty close to where we went to high school. It's extremely easy to root for, but it's such a good movie.
Yeah, but it's
on
also
own.
amazing.
It's really good.
I mean, I didn't know Ethan until I'd seen the movie,
Yeah, true.
and then I met Ethan after.
And also,
So it's not-
we barely know Ethan.
Yeah, so it's not like
I just mean there's a face to it.
For
It's
sure.
not distant.
Yeah.
It's easy to.
but
but it's
Barbarian
also
rocks
so
also.
good.
I mean, like I don't know if anyone in the chat wants to weigh in if they've seen them both. I would
I think Ferg's seen them both.
I would
right?
happily go with Therapy Dogs, but I don't know. No complaints on Barbarian either. Or Minions: The Rise of Gru.
Losers bracket.
Yeah.
Minions comes back.
Well, while we're waiting for any final votes and whatever, I don't know. Is there anything else from this movie year that you wanted to talk about?
I could
Do you want to do
say
your
performances.
real quick? What time is it? 9:30. All right, we got a couple minutes.
My favorite leading male was Justin Long in Barbarian. That was fantastic, super funny, and also kind of human, even though can tell right away the character's a scumbag. Let me get his name here. For leading actress, Anna Cobb from We're All Going to the World's Fair is incredible. Doing a lot and like asked a lot of, because it's a character you're not really supposed to understand a lot of the time and yet feel for. And I think she does an amazing job.
Yeah, I really got to watch that.
Supporting actor Steven Yeun in Nope.
Great.
He's so good in that scene where he does the monologue about remembering his childhood trauma, and he's just really great throughout. Supporting actress Lashana Lynch in The Woman King, just a great movie star performance, I think. Right, sort of establishing herself as a new movie star, which is always cool.
My performances, I don't gender.
That's very progressive of you.
Lead performance was Molly Reisman in Retrograde.
Okay.
There's some great performances on that 10. And then Ki Hui Kwan in Everything Ever All at Once was my best supporting performance.
Yeah, amazing.
Incredible performance.
Honestly, if he wasn't winning everything, I'd probably put him as well.
Yeah, I mean, as a kind of, it's like,
just doesn't feel
I know
as
he's
personal.
gonna win everything,
Yeah.
so it's sort of
He's-
like. But
on
honestly,
Sunday-
it just was my favorite performance.
He's going to win and he's going to cry. If I had to make 2 predictions.
But it was my favorite performance. So
Yeah,
what can
he's
I say?
incredible.
I mean, I'm just being honest to myself. But I did think about Justin Long for a while for Barbarian when I was making my choice. So hey, put him in supporting, but I mean,
Category fraud.
I have like all the other categories, but we don't have to.
But what about, did you do supporting? Oh,
Yeah, support Ki Hui Kwan.
did you do lead? Oh, you
Yeah,
just
Molly
did
Reisman.
lead and supporting and you didn't gender.
Yeah.
Right.
I did like editing and screenplay and everything.
I feel like God is on a bit of a schedule. I feel like we should wrap it up.
I agree. Did anyone vote?
All right.
Wow! Come on!
All right, I think we should pick.
Let's go. Therapy.
I think it's
Dogs.
Therapy Dogs.
I mean, I love it.
Movie of the year every year.
All right, hell yeah! Well, Therapy Dogs is our winner.
Congratulations.
Won the summoned.
We have been summoned.
What do we get from God now that we've summoned the best movie?
We
of
get
the
a
year?
prize pack.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, you guys all get like the
Could we have a blessing?
well, yeah, and you got as many blessings as you want.
Could we have good luck?
Good luck. You get to go to the VIP section of heaven.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's where everyone hangs out. And I'm gonna do a miracle for you, so just look out.
Any miracle we want? Like, okay, yeah,
Nice.
I'll think about a good one.
Okay.
Parsa just joined. Two
Hey,
birds.
Parsa.
I saw Parsa on the subway today.
Hey,
Nice to see you again, Parsa.
shout out,
Here's an ear horn just for you.
Parsa. What was your favorite movie of the year?
Yeah, I would love to hear your favorite movie.
And anyone else in the comments?
Yes.
Let us know.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Appreciate hanging out with us.
We'll be back next year to do this again, but also
I feel like we
Before
should
then,
do
we'll do
other
some-
years
in
the
That's
past.
interesting.
where because
Oh.
I've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of movies.
Yeah, true.
Just move backwards in time until we hit 1910, and the train leaving the station wins.
That's a cool idea. I like that.
Anyway,
I got
Just a
some other
thought.
ideas to pitch to you.
nice. For Seb's ears only. Sorry, everyone.
Well, we had a game we came up with. We were gonna play where. Okay, yeah, we'll save it. Just get.
Parsa says Riders of Justice.
Oh, cool.
Came
Cool
out
pick.
2022, but he watched it this year.
Cool pick. Would like to see it.
Cool pick.
That's a Mads Mikkelsen, I believe.
Oh, and you love Mads.
How can you not?
Maybe Mads was mean to you.
You sound Mads.
Sad.
And on that fantastic joke, maybe we should sign off. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for watching. You've been summoned to watch this again and again and again. So start it back from the start. Go.
Good night, everybody. Bye.